Welcome to Liverpool 12th Man Show. I'm the Liverpool 12th Man, and I have some fun stuff to talk about today, huh? Some fun stuff to talk about today for sure. I'm going to be bringing in the Irishman with me to talk about it. How are you doing, Brian?
Oh, just wonderful. Yeah. Did you do anything yesterday?
Yeah, I know. Was
Anything
there a game
happened
yesterday?
Yeah, I don't know. Must have been.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I think that
But
solar eclipse might have blanked my mind, wiped my memory.
actually, I just looked at the solar eclipse just to do the
Yeah.
MIP thing and just like kind of
Yeah.
wash away the memories of yesterday for sure. Because holy crap, I just watched that game over. I didn't even want to watch it immediately after. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this game before I go to bed or something like that, just to kind of like get these notes down and everything else. I watched a lot of people's after the reactionary shows and everything else afterwards, and I just like no, I'm gonna lie down and just try to forget about this. Woke
Yeah.
up angry, watched the first half, and I'm just like, oh, forget this. I'm gonna go outside, try to like again wipe the memory clean. Came in, watched that second half, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I still feel dirty.
Yeah.
All this.
I think I just immediately started watching. What did I watch? I just started watching music documentaries, I think.
Right.
I think I just watching like live stuff and just like anything somewhere that I know in no way would football even be mentioned or seen or anything. It's just like just no talk shows, no freaking group chats, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm done with that as soon as the final whistle was over.
Yeah, which makes sense, man. Because I mean, realistically, I watched it over and like, you know, to say that Manchester United, to say anything positive about Manchester United is very difficult for me. Because like again, we were talking about this in the lead up to the show, and I was saying how like it's just something about me, Like I know, in honesty, he's asking for. He says, "Big up 12." He says, "I need some positivity." The negativity online is mad, and also I'm just disgusted by a part of the fan base that thinks it's okay to racially abuse our players. Oh my
Oh
goodness,
God,
that's the
no,
case. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
no,
That's
no.
absolutely ridiculous.
Honestly, yeah, obviously that doesn't even need condemning, but or to go to that saying
No.
that we condemn that. It's yeah, that's why I was trying to stay away from that Twitter side because pretty quickly that you're going to see that kind of crap popping up, aren't you?
Big up to Marion. So long. It feels like it's been forever, Marion. We miss
Yeah.
you for sure. Oh, big up to Marion Southward. She says, the 12th man, big up, Brian Morrissey. You'll probably have to say that because this looks like is that Gaelic?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Marsu's kind of gama is what she's saying there. I won't try and translate it.
Okay.
It's just saying,
Yeah, okay.
she
Big
kind
up,
of just saying big up, basically.
basically. Okay. Big up to wipe away yesterday's results. I'd need a stiff drink. Problem is, she doesn't drink the hard stuff. Well, you know what? Apparently, Liverpool just made it no better time than yesterday to start because, yeah, that was a difficult game to get through. Yeah, it's a very difficult game. I'm trying not to give away. We have another episode that we were talking about bringing out, and I everything that I'm wanting to say somewhat deals with that episode in essence that we have that we're going to be putting together for you guys coming up pretty soon. But it really the Montoya concept, the Princess Bride concept that I had earlier. It's it's difficult to move away from that. If anything, it makes it that much more prevalent. And the knowledge and fact that we won't have an opportunity to basically smack down the Red Devils again this year makes me so angry. Makes me so angry because they deserve it. They are such a crap team. such a crap team, and the fact that we got beat by a crap team makes it that much more difficult to take. So it is. I know that it's true. I know honesty. I know. I heard this too. The Saudi Pro League are readying their initial move for Liverpool's Mo Salah. Michael Edwards aware of the situation and ready to sanction sale. Salah remains priority for the Saudis. I know that they're going to most likely utilize this as an opportunity to strike. That's obvious because if anything, what they're probably going to do is see this as, the division, to see the way that the fan base reacts and how visceral that we can be sometimes, especially with our own players. Look, there's no room for racism as the moniker goes, but I mean, there is no real inkling of there's just absolutely no place for it amongst our fan base. I think that's silly. It shows your character when you sink to those levels. And I think we have high moral character in this fan base. I like to think that because of our heritage that we do escalate to a higher level of acceptance and of expectation. So, I'm glad that we're in a forum here on this channel where we're not going to see that, where we're not going to be a part of that. And if that happens, be quick to point that out, guys. Let's just be really quick to point that out. But Brian, what were some of your thoughts about yesterday? If you want to even talk about it a little bit, I know it's going to be difficult, but I think Brian's on. Brian's possibly there. You there, Brian? No. I could tell it was going in and out when he didn't answer. Let's see. I'm going to bring up some of these chats as well here. I like Drunk Vigo's take on this. He says, have Liverpool's title hopes been eclipsed?
Oh, very true.
I said he's a poet and he didn't even know it. Let's see. There's some other comments here. Yes, Philip Bidwell, big up. He says, criticize our players as much as you like, but don't bring in racial overtones in it. That's absolutely correct. I mean, it's so spot on. Honesty says, exclusive LSC offers Ruben Amorim a contract for the next 3 seasons. Financial terms are almost agreed. Negotiations remain positive for Amorim. That's interesting. A lot of moving of the chess pieces on the board to try to solidify our next move after Klopp. Question: after the draw, and we are still 2 on. Wait, okay. Let me make sure I get this correct. It says, question: after the draw, we are still 2 on goal differential difference. Fans are like, the title race is done. Do you think Klopp was kind of right by calling us spoiled? Oof. I know it's very, very touchy when it comes to that, because a lot of times when you have those kinds of basically trying to hold us accountable for the words and the things that we say. Do I think Klopp is making us seem like we're spoiled, or is he right in saying we're spoiled? I don't think it's necessary. I don't think we're spoiled. I know our expectations have been risen to a level where we expect certain things. And it's very interesting because Brian, do you think that we had these kinds of expectations when we were in 2003 or 1997? You know what I mean? Or, were our expectations at the same levels that they are now? I understand they were at that level in the 80s, especially in the 70s and especially in the 80s. But during the 90s and even maybe the first decade, the second decade, and it hurts to even say the third decade, by that time, had our expectations come down somewhat, or do you think that our expectations were so excessively high that you're always going to have those expectations and to be even remotely, you know what I mean, to even remotely dignified being called spoiled?
Yeah, right. Okay, that's a multi-layered answer to that. Okay,
let's get it.
Basically, what I did, look, this has just been thrown at me now, so obviously, so I'm going to try and think this out. You had the expectations. You had the next year is our year. Okay. Man United would throw that at us. Next year is our year. Their fans would always say next year is our year, because we always expected to be back. Yeah, we always expected to be challenging again. We always expected to be, no matter where we finished, because even at our worst, we didn't finish worse than, say, seventh, sixth,
Right.
seventh. And it was only ever a couple of signings and we'd be back. It's like, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you've been saying next year will be our year for 18 years now. Now it's 20 years, now it's
Yes.
however long.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that was the fight almost there. Then you have the unrealistic expectations of the modern fan, maybe the online fan, where it's the I don't accept anything less than the best
Yes.
type people.
Yes. Yes.
These people who wouldn't get into my weekly five-a-side team if we'd been all at a wedding the night before and we were still in our wedding gear. This guy still wouldn't be getting on the team, but he doesn't expect anything other than the best.
Right.
You have
Right.
these
Right.
guys, okay, who they don't help anything, okay, but then there's the other two layers to it. There's the expectation that comes with being Liverpool. Okay, now that is a built-in expectation. The Bill Shankly quote, Liverpool exists to win trophies. That's a built-in expectation. It does. It's like, even when Ferrari hadn't won a Formula One title for 10 years, everyone is still looking, where are Ferrari going to be next year? Where are Ferrari going to be? Because they're Ferrari, you know.
Right.
And then the fourth layer to that then is the positive expectation. It was having those kind of expectations of ourselves and our club and who we were that allowed us to continue on being, if you get what I'm understanding, it was having that expectations of what kind of club we support. We support a big club. We're not going to let anyone tell us that we're finished or we're done. That was a kind of another type of expectation. And I thought that's what drove the club on, that never let us kind of, even though our standards dropped, our expectations didn't drop in where this club should be.
Right.
Could be. That was always at the lowest of the low. It's like, never stop believing, don't give up. Now you could call that expectation. But what we have now at the moment is Liverpool should be doing this, Liverpool should be doing that this season right now, which is, let's look at the landscape and say, okay, yeah, expecting us to have won more, won this, won that. Didn't hear the exact quote, but there would be a type of spoiled person out there that it's a kind of a wah, I don't care, I just want to win.
I just want to win. I just want to win. Yeah.
Rather than actually backing the club and saying, no, this is Liverpool. Liverpool should be winning, and here's how we're going to do it, and here's what we're going to do, rather than just kicking up a stink on the internet and saying sell him and sell him and sell him.
Right.
So if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. I understand exactly where you're going with this. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's
hopefully
really...
the chat does too. I think the chat's following. I think I at least am following. I know that. Yeah,
that's it, really. That's it. And yeah, big up Pops. Liverpool should be scoring goals. Yeah, big up the Pops. So that's where I go. Yeah, you've got like the probably 3 or 4 different types of expectation. The positive, the kind of the built-in that comes with being Liverpool. Then you've got the online and then the kind of knowing that we'd only ever be 2 or 3 away from, because no matter how far we dropped, we were only ever, Europa League.
Yeah, as in very rarely did you go into like, oh, this is like you're getting into that, oh, might be relegated style, like
exactly. That was never happened. But you've got that kind of positive expectation, that healthy expectation, and then that kind of person who doesn't actually have anything to do with it or doesn't help in any way, that just throws their toys out of the pram when they don't get what they think they should deserve.
Exactly. And that's the biggest question sometimes. It's like, I know that we should have high expectations. I get all that stuff. It's difficult to talk to someone sometimes when, like, you say, oh, well, we need to do this, or we're building this, or we're building that, we're creating a foundation of this or that. And they just say, I don't care, just win. We don't win. I've heard some fans go as far as, if we don't win every trophy that's available every year, then it's not good enough for me. And I'm just like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to excel to excellence, but like even my positive self can understand that there will be some like hiccups along the road, and there will be this sometimes that we just can't get it across the line. But
Yeah. If you
yeah,
could
yeah,
even win one trophy every year, you'd be absolutely flying.
exactly, exactly. What's as scary as this? And this is something that I'll ask you. Not saying this is going to happen because I still believe that we're in the title pursuits, despite the fact that I understand that it's slightly been taken out of our hands. And this is what I mean by it's slightly been taken out of our hands. We still have the ability to win the Premier League,
Mm-hmm.
but it is definitely going to be more difficult now that another club can do exactly what we do, which is just win. We now have to excessively win. We have to, make up that goal differential and exceed the goal differential. And it's not an easy thing to do, like guys. And that's just like that's one of those things where you're not going to get it all back in one game, most likely. We're not going to have like a Bournemouth type style game.
Not with our front three.
What's that?
Not with our front three.
Right. Not with the current form of our front three.
What is it? Is it 7? I think isn't it 7 at the moment? The goal difference.
What's the goal differential?
Is it 7?
Yes,
is the gap?
I can tell you that in a second. Yep. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up.
Like it's not something stupid like 12 or anything, is it?
No, it's not like it's not double digits, but it's very close. I thought it might have been 9 to be honest with you, but I'll double check here because I think it is pretty high. It's pretty high, but it's not insurmountable. That's my point.
It's
9. It's 9. So they have a goal differential of plus 51. We have a goal differential of plus 42. So it's 9. Yep.
Yeah, forget that because they're scoring goals as well.
Yeah, and they're scoring goals at a pretty heavy rate too, like guys, and they're consistent rate. I mean, they just scored 3-0 against Brighton,
and they don't concede. So, I mean, obviously they do concede goals, but they keep a lot of clean sheets.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, you just gotta. Yeah, that ain't happening. Really,
right? That's my point, like guys, and it's still technically, mathematically, and I get what Bajan Pops is saying. He's going, we don't need to focus on goal differential. I get that. Just get the points. And I'm not saying, hey, obviously, let's just get the points and see where the cards lie. But what I am saying is that, like, technically, yes, if somehow, some way, they start, even if they start winning even if they win all their games and we win all our games, if they start winning games like 1-0, 2-1, something like that, and we start winning 4-0, 5-0, something along those lines, and slowly chip away from that goal differential, then that'd be positive. That's what I'm saying. And that's one way we could end up eking out the title. But the bottom line is just win. That's the bottom line. I could care less about,
win.
Yeah, exactly. Win. Yes. Right. That's a you say no rap. That's a rap song actually, but that's cool. All the same. Yes. It gets down to just win. It says, honestly saying his younger brother said there's going to still be a lot of twists and turns coming with matters. All that matters is who's holding the title at the end. Absolutely. I mean, those are poignant words as well.
Until it's mathematically done, it ain't done.
Yeah, I know. You know what, too? Yeah.
There was a lot of that yesterday. Sorry, there was a lot of that yesterday. That's the title gone now. That's the league done. Forget the league now.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot. Now I get it. It was emotional and that, but I've seen before the game. If we don't win this, that's the league gone.
Yes.
Sorry. Did I miss a trophy ceremony today? Did I miss someone being crowned league champion today? I don't think I did.
No, I mean,
so this league is not over.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at this and plotting. We did it. We're guilty of it as anybody. We did it. We looked at I didn't like doing it. I had fun doing it with you. I did it on a couple other shows and I didn't really like it because they were being very oh, this will happen there and this will happen there. They're trying to plot results out for the last 10 games. It's like, this is not possible. You cannot know. You can guess maybe the next game on form. Okay, look, if
Right. Oh
really,
yeah, certainly.
yeah,
Because
but
and we did
10
that too. We did
games.
that. Yeah, we
Yeah,
did that
10
show.
games trying to
And
plot it.
right,
Yeah, we
right.
had a bit of fun with it. We knew, we
Yeah,
had a bit of fun with it, but there were some people go, oh yeah, well we can. So then it's, oh well, if we don't win that, that, and that, it's kind of like, no, sure, they can go to Tottenham and you can have a game this season to get bet 5-4.
right.
They can go anywhere and have an off day, and
Yeah,
just Havertz decides not to put them in for a while. Jesus
right.
has
There could
one of
be.
his
There's a lot of
days.
different. There's a lot. Injuries happen,
Yeah.
or just the fact that they're still in. Look, this week is going to be big for them, and it's big for us too, because I think something too. I understand. I definitely want to win the Prem, but at the same time, I want to win the Europa too. Like, so we have like a lot of different things that are on our plate that we still have to measure. I'm not saying I want to win the Europa more than the Prem. I want to win the titles as the top priority. Obviously, that's a big priority. But I'd like to win the Europa as well. And look, there's City, and this is a comment that Stefano just said. He says, "Man City is the shark in the water. Is the shark in the water now? Because 4-1 wins and an easy run in. Because I do think that they have the easiest run.
Yeah, well,
They have the easiest run to
yeah,
the end of the season when it comes to fixtures. I think they
and
have the easiest
and the
run.
best squad, and the most resource squad,
Exactly.
and the
And it's not
deepest.
like they're playing over their heads or something. It's not like it's not like they're a team that doesn't have the capabilities of winning the league. They're the odds-on favorite to win it from the very beginning for a reason.
Now, the only thing I will say is they have. If you look at the league, okay,
Right.
they do have a certain amount of better games than everyone else. But if you look at their schedule, all their games,
Mm-hmm.
they play Champions League, they play League, then they play FA Cup, then they play League. Their schedule is nasty.
They're nasty. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's not just about the
Yes.
good games they have in it. Like Phil Foden scored a hat trick in the previous game,
Mm-hmm.
and and then the next game he didn't even come off the bench.
Right.
He's
Right.
resting a player like Foden for 90 minutes in the league.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
And
yeah,
he's doing it for a reason.
he can
He's
say
doing it
I've
for a
got
reason.
De
Yeah.
Bruyne, Alvarez, but he knows they've got a mad schedule coming up,
Yeah.
and it's big games. They've got Chelsea in the cup, and they've
Yep.
got Real Madrid.
Yep. I told you how I was speaking to the city fan on the weekend, and I was talking to him. I was like, you guys don't recognize. You might not recognize it, but I mean, like, you guys have a very, very concerted chance of winning the Champions League back to back. And I'm like, but Real Madrid is not going to be a pushover, and like, you having to fight for the Prem, you having to fight for the Champions League, and have to go through Real Madrid to do it. I'm like, if there's any fan group that knows how difficult it is to actually play against Real Madrid or have Real Madrid stand in front of you before like achieving glory.
Well, it's them as well.
Yeah,
they've broken our hearts twice now.
Exactly.
On the biggest stage, but
yeah.
City were 3-0 up against them.
Yeah,
and they came back into
too. Brian, can you answer this question too? And this is to me as well, but I'll allow you to answer as well. It says, 12. Do you want Arsenal and City to advance so they can play each other in the semis?
Oh yeah, of course you do. Games. That's what you want them doing. You want them playing high pressure games. You want them playing. You want them with one eye. You want them going. One eye on this and one eye on that. You don't want them having free run.
It doesn't feel a little weird to say that you want to see them advanced.
Don't care.
A little bit.
No, don't care. We're not
Don't
winning
care.
it, so I don't give a solitary F who wins it, right?
Okay,
Because
okay.
Arsenal probably won't,
Hmm.
but let's let them get as like I say, have one eye on one thing and one eye on the other, and try and
Right.
maybe slip up in one. Now we're saying we also have the Europa League, so if we have that and we're what's the word, progressing through that competition, then we
Hmm.
don't want Arsenal with 2 weeks off when we have to play this and play that. Yeah,
Hmm.
it may not make a difference at the end of the day, but I want us to have as level a playing field in terms of the amount of games to be played, because it's out of our hands now. We need them to slip up.
Yeah.
So the more games they have, and if it's a bigger competition, maybe there's a chance that they will slip up.
Yeah.
More chance, but that's just looking for a needle in a haystack of a sliver of optimism. It's just
Hmm.
really kind of little bits and pieces. If we can do our own thing, maybe just you know all we can hope for now is we only lose one more game, because we will drop points again. It's going to happen somewhere.
It's
It's more
pretty
almost
inevitable
certainly
that we
will. Yeah,
will see our team lose, or not lose, excuse me, but lose points. I'm
yeah.
saying.
We ain't going 100%.
Right.
We like if we do, holy hell. But I got to be realistic. The chances of us going 100%, 3 points in every game now, is highly unlikely. It might be
Hmm.
just drop it. It might be just drawing one game and winning the rest. But it'll be some effort if we did do it. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if we have it, or we'll come on to the guys that we're trusting to do this now, which is the other part of the story. This, like, we can talk about doing it, but we're not playing. And even if we
Right.
were, we'd
Right.
have no
Right.
chance.
Right.
But
Right.
you
Right.
know, we
Yeah, we're
can lose in
saying, of
Europa and
course, we're
still win it.
saying us figuratively in the sense of like, right, not
Yeah, Pops is
we're
saying,
not the ones on the pitch. Ultimately, it gets down
yeah,
to whether these young and some older men on the pitch um, can realistically find that other gear. I think that like I think the biggest thing, and I would like to hear the chat's opinions on this too. I think one of the somewhat silver linings in not necessarily in this game, in this past game, not necessarily really at all, but more so one of the silver linings I'm looking at the outlook or the forecast of our chances is that we do have some players, some very pivotal players. I think possibly two players that would have made a dramatic difference in this game. Not taking a knock against any of the guys that are playing with their capabilities or anything like that. But I think that we have two guys that are aiming, if not three. Now it could be even three. I'll say three because there is a question of there was
anyone
some
for
people
four?
out there saying, oh, would Ali have made that save on that goal or whatever from
Hey, you don't know that.
Manu? Who knows?
No, he's
Who
not.
knows?
No, the main. No, look, that's a tough one to pick out.
Oh,
Come on
I'm
now.
not saying I'm saying that. I'm not
No, I
saying
know.
I'm
No, that's no, no.
yeah, yeah,
I heard what you
yeah,
said. Yeah, yeah. Anyone
yeah,
that's
yeah.
saying that, I mean, oh, he should have saved that one.
That's what
Yeah,
that's there was
there's a few you
on
could have picked. There's a few
I
Keller
think it was on
saves you could have picked. Like,
ESPN or something. It was one of those broadcasts that I was watching. I watched so many
yeah,
broadcasts yesterday. But one of the broadcasts were like saying, "Oh, could Ali have made that save?" And I'm just like, I was like, that's just a great strike. I don't.
well,
I mean, that's harsh if you think so.
that's one of those stupid questions. The answer is, could he have saved it?
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Will we
Possibly.
ever
No.
know?
Right.
No.
Right.
Will we ever find out? No. Is it irrelevant? Yes. That's like asking if freaking Michael Jackson would have saved it. He's not there. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I mean,
What's
like,
Pop saying? Pop says he would have saved it.
everyone saves it and gets sent off because he was outside his box.
Is that? I think that's what he said. I don't want to misquote him. I'm just reading what he said.
No, I think
Um.
he's just kind of joking.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
there's
doing a little tongue in
the,
cheek
the
type thing. I got you.
question could have been asked about some of the other goals we let in, over the last few weeks. You
I can
know,
agree with that. Yeah.
but that one asking like bring up, oh well, would that have gone in if Ali was there?
Oh,
You
he
know,
said no. Read it again. Okay, I
yeah,
got you. I got you. Yeah, it's more of what you were just saying. He was saying it like tongue in cheek.
yeah, yeah. You got to put them little laughy emojis in, pops.
Yeah, or
Uh,
something. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Like I said, I'd always want to make
Michael
sure the
Jackson.
context is there, and I don't want to misquote people.
MK totally said Michael Jackson. Yeah, he would have thrown his hat, but also, in fairness, Jackson would already have been wearing gloves, so he would have been
Exactly.
set up. He would at least he would have had gloves on.
Exactly. You would at least had the gloves ready for the save. Oh man. Do you want to see some of the breakdown of what we had? I mean, is that too much? Would that be too much to relive some of like the things, some of the occurrences in the game? Is that too
That's
much? Is it too fresh? Is the wound too fresh to show like some basically where we pretty much messed up, I guess you could say?
hey
And
man,
some of the better
if you
ones
want to,
too.
yeah, yeah, Stefano. I couldn't think of a beat it reference to quick enough to work one in either, but you know, we haven't had enough song lyrics yet tonight, especially considering how bad it was. So yeah, do it, man. If you want to do it, if the chat wants to open up
I
the,
know. I mean, like as the chat, I mean, like sometimes it's best
are
to
you
just kind
ready
of
to
like,
look? You ready to
yeah,
look at it?
I know. Do you want to like, I don't want to make sure, I definitely don't want to make it where it's like, you know, it's too soon or like, one of those situations, but there were some, I guess, what do you call it? What am I calling it? Semblance of play that we had that I thought was very, very unique in the sense of we lost this game by a mistake, a mental mistake. Maybe even some might even call it like I know I guess we call it rookies, but like like a rookie mistake in the sense of like a youth mistake.
A
And
rookie
then
error is
there's
the phrase we use.
what is it? What is it that you use?
A rookie error.
A rookie error. Yeah.
First 10 minutes more, please. Um, yeah, I wouldn't try and I bring up the bad stuff. I don't want to hear good stuff. I don't really. I'm not
Oh,
ready
you
to
don't want to hear
hear.
good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, like if we did, I mean, yeah, no. If you want to go through, go through. But it's like, yeah, it's not going to help today yet. Anyway.
It's still too fresh in the mind for
Yeah.
some. I
But if
know.
you
I
want to
know.
throw out a few things that stood out to you, man, go ahead, fire away. If something stood out to you that you thought was worth,
Was well,
might
there
cheer
were
us
some.
up a little bit.
Yeah, there were some things that were in my mind at least worth noting. At least I know that like we do want to kind of forget about this game and we just want to move on. But I mean, like it's a review and it's a show that we're supposed to be reviewing it. So that's why I do have some like interesting points. But I'm also not trying to make people sad. This is supposed to be we're trying to be bringing a little bit of positivity, obviously. And the like. But I mean, if we're going to be talking about this game, there's very few points that are going to make you go, oh yeah, that was positive. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I can at least bring up some stuff. I mean, I can at least bring up some stuff. So I'll bring up a few issues here. I'm going to bring up the.
Don't let it go out now.
I'm going to let this go. Bring it up.
Leave it.
Second. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me make sure I have this ready to rock and roll here.
That won't burn.
Is that the pup?
No, it's fine.
Yes, Brian.
Sorry,
Brian.
I'm sorry. I thought it was
No worries. No worries. Let me make sure I have this all ready and ready to rock and roll for everyone. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll make sure that it's all ready to rock and roll. I thought it was ready to rock, but I'm going to be speaking to the AV guy ASAP to make sure why this is not ready to go firing for you guys. All right. Got this going. Actually, I'm going to share this one. So yeah, yesterday there were a couple things that I noted. There were a couple things, at least that I saw, that I thought are worth pretty much worth talking about. Like, I know that a lot of us don't necessarily want to dwell on the initial goal. I think it was very interesting, though, that in this game, we basically controlled very big portions of it. And even with the Diaz goal, I think we really, really pushed them into a place where they were in a sunken place. As in, I think that goal from Diaz really put them in a bad spot. If it wasn't for, obviously, again, a little bit of a mix up in where an individual was on the pitch and where he was necessarily with his teammate, obviously Virgil, and where he was, because Virgil wasn't even close to it. What was very interesting to me was that he chose to not go with, this is what I wanted to show. Let me just show this. Let me bring this up for you guys. And again, this is why it was kind of saddening to me. I think yesterday, initially, here you can see Kwanzaa. Okay, you see Kwanzaa here. He's about to get the pass here. You see how deep they're pushed back. There's only one. We have a triangle here. Let me see if I can get my pointer on the. Yeah, okay, here's the pointer. So see Kwanzaa here. You see this, like, we have a triangle here set up. We have our two center backs, and I think that might be Maka there, or is there Endo or Maka there? I'm not certain. And it's a little bit too pixelated. But when Kwanzaa receives this pass right here, right?
It's Maka.
It was Maka. Okay.
Yeah.
When he receives this pass, what's very interesting about this is that he has his back turned, so he can see where Kelleher is. He should have a peripheral on at least where Virgil and where Bruno is, because he sees the man obviously closing in for the attack. Now, what was interesting about this to me, though, is that if you look at it here, and again, I'll make sure my pointer's here. What's interesting is that Salah is open. He is the option that you can go to. I know a lot of the times we like to orchestrate, or at least when Trent was there, we like to orchestrate our offense through the center, and we're utilizing Maka being in the center, in that center role now, to be that that maestro basically for our offense. And you can see how far back Bruno is. There's a lot of space in between there before he actually, as he's making that pass, rather than angle it back towards Virgil, or even angling it back towards it, or he could have just gone back to the keeper if he wanted to. But that pass needs to be made to Salah, if anything. I don't like the whole concept of going like the side to side. I always want to go progressive passing. At least I understand sometimes people like to do the side to side pass, or do side to side passing to like try to open up things for the offense, keeping the defense moving around a lot on the pitch and trying to open up some channels. But if anything, too, I know Salah doesn't want to necessarily give away too much, because there's no one close to marking Salah on the right wing here. You can see this little triangle of Red Devils around. It's I don't know who that is either, because we switched so much. I'm not certain if that's Nunez or if that's even Diaz or Szoboszlai. But like, he should have. He didn't look, and that was the unfortunate thing. It's just sometimes you naturally think, oh, I'm going to have this outlet. This is the safe outlet. This is the safe outlet. And he should have gone to this outlet that I'm showing right here, which is unfortunate for us that he didn't. This is the Manugo. And here you can see this is again another, what's that?
If we just on that, I think Pops made a really good point.
What was it?
Pops made a really, really good point on that.
Oh yes, yeah, okay, yeah, I see that.
It was actually, this is something else that we need to kind of bring into this. Is as much as we may dislike the guy, he's an incredibly sharp footballer.
Yes.
He is
Yes,
clever
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
as
VVD
they
pointed
get.
back to Kells, and VVQ didn't look up at
He
the rat,
yeah.
anticipated that no look pass from VVQ to VVD. Yeah.
For Bruno copped on basically what he was going to do before he did it. And I've spoken
Yeah.
about that 1,000 times on here, that when you play football, if you're an intelligent player, you're an intelligent footballer, sometimes you can win the ball, sometimes you can win a challenge just by
Mhm.
knowing what someone is going to do before they've done it. Not because you're a mind reader, but because you've seen
Diaz
it a
did it.
thousand
Diaz
times
did it the game
before.
before. Diaz
Yeah,
did it.
you've seen it
I
a
gave
thousand
Diaz a
times
lot of
before.
praise because Diaz was smart to know that he pressed into
You're
space that he didn't have to, that no one expected, none of us expected the ball to be there, type deal. But he pressed into that space and was available to get that goal, the game
yeah,
before. Right, right.
if you have that level of anticipation, that level of speed of thought, where you can go, he's not going to do that. He's going to no look that. I bet what
Mhm,
he's there going is basically what he says himself is there. I bet you he's going to no look that to Virgil,
mhm. Yeah,
because that's just his football brain goes. He's going to do that. I'm going to step in.
yeah,
If he didn't, it wouldn't have mattered. But that's just the anticipation and the cleverness of it. And I think Pops is spot on there, that he guessed what he was going to do,
right. Yeah,
and he
and that was
and
it was a smart read. It was a smart read. Yeah,
it is, and
and that's
it's
the other
look, it
thing.
is
Yeah,
Kwanzaa's
yeah.
mistake. Okay, we're not digging.
Right,
We're not throwing a rope down to Kwanzaa here. To get him out of the hole that he dug himself
right,
into.
right.
But
No, no, no.
it's
Yeah,
it is just that guy did he did use his brain as well. So
yep, yep. And that's the thing, is that in this next one was with the Manu goal, like as in one, there's way too much space available for him to get that pass. You can see there's way too much space. He's able to receive it right at the center mark and just be able to turn and actually move and make into something. But again, that's what happens sometimes on counterattacks. You can see the line is set. No one's necessarily marking him, so he's able to receive the ball and look and pervade the field. This is later on in the build up, and again, you can see that we have enough men back. We have players back. There's at least 8-9 players back to contend with the Red Devils 5 guys up there. We should be able to get this done. We're gonna have this. They're gonna condense on these players, or they're gonna drop onto these players, and they're gonna be able to break this up. It certainly should be the case. This is where it all started to break down, though. You can see that there's too much space for him to be able to get that ball. Okay, you can see how the breakdown is right there.
yeah,
And then him being able to see that he has no one in front of him, that's just an easy. I mean, that's Rashford, I believe, that passed it to him. Just ball watching, exactly what realism Jared says. Ball watching. If anything, eliminate that space, especially considering we had the numerical advantage. Look, there's 2, 4, 6, technically, I would even say 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 guys there. They have 5 guys. So as in, we needed to really break down and say, okay, where is this concept? Where's the concept of consistent and unrelenting press, even if it's in this back, in our third, we still have to have the immediate concept of eliminate the space, take away the angles, and also as the other players on the pitch to be able to mark or take away the passing lanes as well. But we just didn't do it here, and that's why that ended up going to become a somewhat easy goal, I guess. And it wasn't an easy goal in that it was like an easy shot. I mean, that shot was well taken. If he misses that in any which way, possibly Kelleher does make the save, but that was not the case. I do have one bright thing, or not bright thing, but one thing I was kind of disappointed in, and that was, look, I'm a big Dom fan, but one thing I noticed in that first 3 minutes, Dom had an opportunity to give us possibly a 3-0 lead. He had some really good. albeit the first one. This is the save opportunity that he had against Onana, or this is the save opportunity that Onana made against him. That was a good save. It could have been a better shot, but still the same. It was a good shot. Onana made a good save. Great deal. But there was a play. I don't know if I have. Let me see if I have that in here. No, this is the Elliott spot. There was a play that happened that was a play that happened that I was somewhat disappointed. Was when Dom made an approach. This is all in the first 20 minutes again, where he kind of flubbed. He kind of slipped a little bit, and you could see Salah was right behind him, and Salah was open to be able to take the strike as well. I'm not saying there's any guarantee that Salah's strike would have been any bit better, because considering the strikes he had his own opportunities in the game as well. But he's got to score. He's got to score there. That's just simple as that. This last part and point is right here is I'm gonna give props out to Elliott. Look, Elliott came on, and there could be an argument now. Does Elliott start in front of Dom? Or do you move Maka onto the right and you bring in Cujo? Because I don't know if Dom is going to start that next game. And that's sad to say, because I am very, very big on Dom playing and being a part of the club. What do you think?
There's been a clear effort, in my opinion. And again, I'll say this, there's people in the chat, people on shows that I've always said are like way better than me at like all this kind of stuff, the tactical stuff and breaking down moves on the pitch and all that kind of stuff. It's never been my wheelhouse. So because I know there's guys out there that coach every day, that are in the business, excuse me. And I know I'm just a football watcher, a football fan. But when I see things sometimes that are obvious changes, then I think, it can't be ignored. And I think along with the Endo thing coming back with McAllister, there's been a concerted effort to get Dominic further forward in that left-hand position, getting into the box more. He was playing under, he seems to be getting it up the last few games a lot more. They're trying to get him in there. Night, Marianne, take care. To actually get him involved and to get him opening up his shots again and maybe just get him that confidence. But we seem to be trying harder, is what I'm trying to say, to get him involved in closer to the box in that position where, in that exact position where we see him there, that left-hand side spot.
Right.
And it is, I think that tells me, that tells me that they are trying to get him involved more, because they don't think he is involved enough. They're trying to get his numbers up, not pat statting or anything, but trying to get him to get involved more. That's what I see. And it hasn't really worked. It hasn't worked out. It hasn't come off, but you could, like when that shot he hits yesterday, it's, you see that, but the quality with which he hits it is the good thing. So, some guys, they'll get in that position, they'll balloon it over the bar, not like Dom can't do that either, but it would be a bad shot where that you can see the technique that he has. And if that goes in, he has a different game. He's on cloud 9. But you can see that they're really trying to get him into, because I think they've realized, I would imagine, again, this going very much into guesswork territory, that he's down. He's down a bit. In training, he's like, I know I'm not doing enough. I should be scoring more. Like, Don, come on, because he was playing on the right of that tree. He was playing in a right back position at times early in the season. And now he's in that left-hand side role, getting in. That's a definite change. You can't tell me that's not different. So it's, to me, it's like we're trying to get that best out of him. We're trying to get, like, we know everyone talks about, we'll never see him do what he does for Hungary playing in this team, because he won't play in that role or in a team like that, or in a team where he's the number one guy and he's, one of the main attacking players. In this side, he won't. Not while Klopp is here.
Right.
But we might see a different, like, he obviously has the ability. Like I said, 3 goals, if he got 3 league goals between now and the end of the season, they might be really big goals. You know, like I was talking about the Gundogan thing yesterday, but when he kind of came alive at the end of the season, just a guy from midfield that hasn't been scoring goals or doesn't normally score goals. The last 7 or 8 games of the season chips in with, you know, Gundogan went on a mad run. I think he got like 7 goals or something.
Right.
You know, but just for McAllister, like the ideal thing now would be if McAllister and Sabozzic just popped up and between the two of them got 6 league goals between now and the end of the season. Those 6 league goals could be the difference between a title or not. And he has all the ability and quality to do it. But I think now with that Atalanta game coming up is possibly a good chance to sit him down on the bench and it not be a dropping, you know, it not be a you're out, but get Jones in and give him his shout, give him his game, and then give Dom a while off. But it is hard because you can see when he does things, you can see the technique and the ability that he has. And we've seen him already for us. Well, he's already scored a couple of bangers for us this season outside the box.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I see. And that's
but
why
do you notice that change as well? That change, that positional change, that kind of thing, or is that just something I'm?
No, I do. This game kind of maybe want to do a tactical Tuesday or something, maybe only because of what you're just saying is that I see exactly what you're talking about in that it's unique that it's unique that they wanted to put him in that role. I think it's more so now because, and this is again, Trent was getting very far advanced in a lot of these opportunities. He was actually a lot more central as well, but he's getting more advanced and he was taking up those spaces that are now open, I think, to Dom now being able to take advantage of for himself. And why I brought up the thing about him being in front of Salah for that one opportunity, the one where he came in, he kind of like slid and he went wide left. If you see it, Salah was there. Normally,
Mo's in behind him.
Yeah, Mo's in behind him. That pass would have gotten to Mo also, and it would have been on his left foot. It would have been perfect, right? Not necessarily saying it would have been a goal, but I'm just saying it would have been at least a perfect opportunity. And Dom, you can kind of see Salah's kind of, agitation because he saw it happen and he's just like, oh man, that was for me. I think that he's thinking he could have done better with the op, but it seemed like Dom is he has the engine, he has the motor, I'm not going to question his intensity, and I know that it was just a question, but I think that MK Toe asked, is Szoboszlai hiding? Is it just an open question, but is it fear of a re-injury? I don't think he has any fear of re-injuring himself. I've saw him take on some of those advanced runs and progressive runs that he made in the game. I think showed some of the qualities that we really appreciated early in the year from Dom. But now so more than ever, he's just gotta finish his dinner. Like all these guys, they gotta finish their dinner. They've got to be, if you're going to tell me we're going to have 28, 29, 30 shots, or whatever it was today or yesterday, and you're going to tell me that we're going to only get 1 goal out of all those shots, that has nothing to do with that's everything to do with your inability to basically, take a moment, focus, and put the ball where we need to put it. I saw, I'm trying to think of what his name was. Deeney, right? Is his name Deeney?
Troy Deeney.
Troy, yeah. He was on I guess one of the the after the talk show or one of the shows after that they do the games, and he was basically saying how look, he thought that we're trying to be too precise with the pass with our goals. We're trying to be too precise with where we're trying to put these efforts on net. And I don't know if we're necessarily trying to be too precise. He was just saying just shoot the ball with as many shots as you're getting. just shoot the ball, hope for a deflection, and like one or two of them is probably going to go the wrong way for the defense and be a goal to go in. But we have the types of players that are able to put the ball where we need them to put it. Like if we just saw some real brilliance out of this young teenager from the Red Devils step up and put a precisely spotted shot in for their second goal. Should we not expect that from Salah? Are we asking too much to expect that from Dom or even Nunez or a Diaz who has some opportunities? I don't think so. Am I wrong on saying that?
No, like you can't expect Manu to do it every week, but you can't expect us like the perfect goal thing, the walking it in, the smashing it from 30 yards. I think we tried every one of them yesterday. I think we tried a lot. Mo was not exactly, trying to score the perfect goal. I don't think we had enough opportunities and enough play where you could point to me where, oh, look, there they go again trying to score the perfect goal. I don't really agree with that. Maybe he saw one piece of play like that. Right. I didn't see us carving him open and, if only he hit that rather than trying to play that over elaborate final pass or a cutback. Mm-hmm. I didn't see us having the opportunity to be that wasteful. We had lots of possession and we had lots of shots, but I didn't see us building up and breaking them down.
I didn't either. Look, the conditions weren't exactly the best of conditions, but then again, that they're normal conditions for Manchester, especially, in the sense of like it's raining and the
normal for England.
For England in general, exactly. The pitch is slippery. Like we saw some of the guys slipping and sliding. We saw Nunez have a good opportunity to score, but unfortunately slipped. We saw again Dom have an opportunity to shoot the ball, and he ended up slipping. But those aren't excuses. I'm just saying, those were the conditions, and they weren't able to overcome those things. It affects everyone. Exactly. I'm not saying that.
As you said, weather is the same for both teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Weather's the same, pitch is the same for both teams. The only thing is it's in Manchester, not Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Pops is saying, have you seen the boots they wear these days, man? They're like people. We talk about slipper shots. I have slippers that have more protection than the boots they wear these days. They're basically like socks with studs in the end of them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everything reduced to enhance speed and the ability to feel the football and to be able to do all those different things that you need to do with like changing direction, the whole nine. Absolutely.
Tiny little things. They're like golf cleats almost. They're just tiny little goats.
He's asking, MK Toe's asking, what happened to those old six studders? Yeah. Yeah, boots have definitely changed.
They went out with the black and white TVs, man.
Yeah. 4 points from 94. Well, I'm looking to see. Oh, I'm gonna ask Hylor. I'll bring up your stat in a second, Hylor. This is a interesting stat that I saw on another publication. Because I'm going to bring it up still, though, the same for us to look at. Look, in this game, we had 9 shots. They had 9 shots to 28 shots. It was the first time since 2015 that Manchester United had 0 attempts in the first half. It's been nearly a decade since they've had 0 attempts in the first half.
I said it to you, man. I said it to you yesterday that it's taken. Now, again, it didn't go our way yesterday, but we didn't lose. Let's not forget.
Yes, no doubt.
That this isn't a ground or a team. It hasn't been for 5 or 6 years now, but Pops will probably be with me on this. It's only in the last couple of years that I've really felt comfortable being able to say that, no, we don't need to worry about going there. They are that bad. We can beat them. Whereas before, even if they were bad or whatever, they'd still beat us. Or if we were bad, it didn't matter. Going there was horrible. They were always better than us. And
Mm-hmm.
because the residual PTSD of 20 years of Man United dominance, it's only in the
Mm-hmm.
last couple of years that I can sit here and go, yeah, I'm not surprised by how bad they are. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but they've been this bad for maybe 6 years now, 7 years. But these kind of stats now, a couple of years ago, would have been completely shocking. But they're just not now. That's how far they have fallen. Where they genuinely aren't. They're stopped being a bogeyman. They've stopped
Yes.
keeping me awake at night, kind of thing. I don't fear them anymore. The
Mm-hmm.
the fear has gone. The aura of Old Trafford has gone. Yes, we've been shocking against them this season. Can't hide away. We've been absolutely abysmal against this season. But
Mm-hmm.
just, I mean, look at how bad they visibly are.
Yeah.
These kind
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
They must be racking up stuff like that. Look, it looked different because they got the offside goal at the start and they did have what looked like chances,
Mm-hmm.
but they weren't really chances.
No, yeah. No, you're right about that. Yeah. Yeah. That's why, like, look, the 9 shots, they all came in the second half. Um, 5 of the shots that were on target, obviously the first 2 shots that were on target, they scored on. Okay. But the sheer fact that they had 9 shots and 5 on target, okay, all well and good. But then you look at our portion of that contribution, we only had 2 shots on target more than them. That's crazy. And then you look at it, big chances, um, big chances are 7 big chances to their 1. 7 big chances to their 1. You want to talk about things. Look, our XG was 3.59. That's high. That is a high number. We had in the passes in the final third, in the opponent's final third, 222 to their 82. Touches in the opposition box. They had 16 touches in our third. We had 59 touches in the final third, or in the in the opposition's box. Those numbers say you've got to do better. You just have to do better. And if anything, you have to, I don't, maybe it's just me with this, but I would like to see us just be angry. You know what I mean? I would just like to see us be like, that's unacceptable.
I think
Unacceptable.
part of that is coming from, as much as, yeah, I won't be personal about it, but if we had prime Robbo and a prime Milner or a prime Henderson, as
Mm-hmm.
much as, you know, whatever you think about him, that's where you're going to get that. It's the fact that Endo doesn't feel like that yet. McAllister
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel like it. Sabo doesn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like it yet.
Mm-hmm.
That they're not. They am here long enough to go. This isn't good enough for us. This isn't going to do. To have that anger. Henderson would have given you that. Robbo
Yes.
4 years ago would have given you that.
Yes.
Milner would have come on and absolutely smashed somebody in a
Yeah.
fair way. In a fair way, but he would have come on in that game and gone, lads, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Bang, hit him.
Yep.
You know, fair but hard. You know, none
Yeah.
of the, you know. But so yeah, the anger that you're looking for, the aggression on the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all well and good having more shots than the Harlem Globetrotters, but what are we doing to ourselves here? You know, we're
Yeah.
just, you're just creating this idea that we're doing well. You're creating this sort of visual that look at all the shots we're having, look at this, look at that.
Right.
But
Right.
at no point was this team isn't convincing me. It hasn't convinced me all season. It hasn't, not that it needs to, not that it
Mm-hmm.
has to, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just, I have a little bit of, there was a time when Madrid, it was maybe about 10 years ago, they were doing really well, but they had this weird system where they didn't have a system and they just
Mm-hmm.
kind of went out and played.
Just out and played.
And,
Yeah.
and I know I know we very much do have a system, but to me, it isn't obvious what it like. To me, what it wasn't obvious. And I remember having a Twitter conversation with Michael Cox about this. And Michael Cox is basically the guy from Zonal Marking. Like, he's one of the gods of stats with the original internet stats site. He's absolute. The guy's a gold mine. He's brilliant. But he's really big now. He works for all. But back then he wasn't, and he'd chat away to you on Twitter. And he was like, yeah, Real Madrid are weird. Like, he'd do tactical breakdowns of every team every week. And you go, yeah, Madrid, they're just weird. They don't have tactics. Like, even for someone like him, it's just, yeah, they don't have tactics. They just go out and kind of play. Now, we will, but watching us, it was the same experience. I just don't see what we're trying to do. How are we trying to play? You know, like Pops was saying earlier on, we used to be, if nothing else, we used to be devastating. I think the 2 points he was making, that we've always been profligate, we've always been wasteful, we've always created a lot and not scored as much.
Right.
But we've also scored a hell of a lot. But we were always devastating on the counter. And now all these low block teams, when finally we don't play against a low block team, as United weren't in the second half when they start going at you a bit, even when we got those breakdowns and those high turnovers and our 5-on-2s, we can't even finish. This is more than once now where we've had a 4-on-2 or a 5-on-2, and we've absolutely shit the bed at the end of it. Just completely messed it up in a way that before, bang, bang, Mane, bang, bang, Salah. No messing around, lads. This is how we do our damage. This is how we score our goals. Man United were stupid enough to turn over high against us. It's 5-on-2. It's game over. Now, who's going to mess it up? Will Nunes mess it up? Will Salah slip a shot it? Will Diaz make the wrong decision? That's what's going through my head now. You know, like Pops was saying, back then, even then. But now it's even our counters. Because this is wider thing for me. I think what's happened is we've tried to mash together Klopp football and Pep Linder's football, and we've gotten the worst of both worlds. We don't look to me like a team that has an identity, a real strong identity. Like, what kind of football do we play? Do we play possession? Do we play high press, counterattack? I know we change with the opposition, but to a degree, we don't want to change. But I mean, what kind of team are we?
Right. And that's what I was just about to get into. I was going to basically be getting into this thing where, look, our basic DNA used to be, at least, press. The counter press is do or die for us, right?
Yep.
So often you would think that element is going to be the first and foremost thing that you're going to say. But one thing that Klopp spoke of this year was he made the point of saying we want to be a possession-based team, right? And what was unique about that was, okay, now we're at a place and point where, okay, now we're not only going to press, but we're going to be able to hold on to games, see games out, that kind of concept, right? And that was somewhat of a unique, different thing, because a lot of times, hey, there's parts and points of last year where, you know, if we absolutely dominated games. We just didn't control games in the sense of being able to, you know, or for instance, what was the game that we were talking about? Being able to, like, despite having, or the FA Cup game, for instance.
Yeah.
Despite having a lead, we weren't able to just start passing the ball a little bit. Just get just tire them out. Just start to play with possession, not necessarily press, and or go forward. You know, and continuously try to score. You know, at some point, just say, okay, let's kind of just, you know, allow for them to play chase for a little bit. You know, because that's what it is. But yesterday, our ground duels was abysmal. The number of ground duels that we won was abysmal.
Can I ask a quick question on that?
Go ahead.
What are the aerials like? Because they were bypassing midfield a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
So what were the aerial duels that we won? Are
Yeah.
we asking?
No, I mean in terms of
So
numbers, were there more in terms of
yes.
ground duels and aerial duels? Were there more aerial duels than ground duels?
That's a good question. Let me see if I can find that number real quick. Because I think there's probably more ground duels than there was um, aerial duels because it says we had 12 aerial duels won. They had 11,
It'll be
but
okay.
they had 60 ground duels won. Total duels won. They had 60. And we had 48. Um, we lost the ball a lot more. We only had 24 dribble attempts, so we were like 50% for our dribble attempts. We were 26% for crossing. There was a moment that kind of symbolized our crossing, and that was that last corner kick that Robbo took, where he actually put his hand up and said, hey, that was my bad. That was a horrible cross. And it was a case where I just sat there and go, yeah, man, we are missing Trent on that corner. Trent taking those corners is making a big difference. Not taking those corners, making a big difference for us. Let me see if I can find a real solidified stat on how many ground duels there were. Because we had 11 corners. 11 corners, man. And
Well,
a couple
look,
of them, it's the reason why we started taking short corners and stuff like that. I wasn't happy about those. Especially considering that, I get that McGuire is relatively decent in the air. I don't know about the 19-year-old that they had back there.
Chumbawamba.
But yeah, I don't know about whether he's a really good he's good in the air or not. But oh man, yeah, I don't have a stat for how many ground duels we had.
No, because that was definitely a game that was not being played. In the midfield tactically, there was very little.
Mm-hmm.
From them, there was very little midfield play. Basically, they don't really have a midfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's just basically we were pressuring them, and then they were going long after. It's just, it's just a really bloody poor United team.
It is. It
They've got a
is.
couple of good players in it, but I mean, look, fair play to the kid Mainu to have the composure to do that in a game like that.
Fair play.
Props to the young lad for that's a beauty. That's
Fun
grand.
that guy. Fun that
But
guy.
I'm just saying, like in terms
I have
of,
no love for any Red Devil whatsoever. Fun every
well,
last.
he hasn't been around long enough for me to hate him yet.
I feel sometimes physically ill when I see them see the Red Devils. Any Red Devil, I don't care who it is. But I understand what you're saying. I understand.
Yeah, I'm just trying to give him like some. It wasn't like.
Yeah, I get
it. It was sometimes it's like what can you do about it, but in the build up,
mm-hmm.
it shouldn't have gotten there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, it's just in terms of a little bit of composure there, Like we didn't.
MK,
like
I'm not a Paul. I am not a Paul Ince fan, so it is what it is with that. I'm not a Paul Ince fan. I wouldn't root against him. Obviously, when he would take on if he was taking on a Reds kit, he's a Red, so you hope the best and you hope that he brings us glory. But yeah, I'm not a Paul Ince fan, so that's a little bit of a touchy subject. But anyway, all the same. Yeah, 7 big chances yesterday, guys. 5 big chances missed. That hurts. We had 3 counterattacks. There 2. We had 3 out of those 3 counterattacks. We got shots off. They had 2 counterattacks. They got 2 shots off too. And that's 2 of their shots as well. If you look at it, when they say goals prevented, it was like a minus 0.85 for us, and it was a 0.85 a positive 0.85 for them. Look, it was just a poor game. Let's get into these ratings.
Which means, according to the stats, we should have conceded fewer than we did, and they should have conceded more than they did.
Right, absolutely.
Basically,
yeah.
So
basically,
we should have won.
We should have won.
Stats over there.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, you can take stats for what they're worth, but sometimes the bottom line is, did you win? Nope. Okay, then let's move on. So yeah, let's get into these ratings. We're gonna go quickly through these ratings so we can get. We're not gonna do a man of the match. So I mean, I don't think anyone deserves the man of the match. At least not no one on our end, at least. What were you guys? Just tell me what you guys were feeling about Kelleher. I know what I was feeling about Kelleher. What was your rating on Kelleher, Irishman?
Just give him 60.
60. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him at a 65. So, what are you guys feeling in the chat? Like, what would you have said? What would you have said about Kelleher's play yesterday?
There wasn't much he could have really done about either of them, was there?
I don't think there was. You know,
And he
wasn't out of position technically. For when he tried to hustle back and make the save against Bruno's shot, because like, you know, we play a little bit of a further advanced goalkeeper in the essence of he's almost like a you know, center half, an additional center half in essence that just wears gloves.
They use it to make a 3 in the back there.
Yeah, to be a, you know, that safety valve in case you're pressed and don't have that option.
He nearly got there as well, you know. He nearly got there.
He nearly did.
If you watch the replay, he's only a couple of inches. But even then, he would have been on the ground and he would have only tipped it. Anyway, who cares? 70, 65, 70, 270.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the 65 I had earlier. Yeah, I'll go with the 65. He says,
check the chat thing, will you?
Yeah, I did. Kelleher got a 70 from Hylor. He got a 70 from Philip. Bajan says, Kells was good on the half chances they created and could do nothing with either goal. Happy he didn't get his hands on the first shot, or we are playing with 10. Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That's a very good point. He was outside the box when he tried to make that attempt.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was. Was.
Okay. I just saw an angle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
right.
I think he was. And if he had made that attempt, or if he had made contact with it, we would have been forced to not only be down to 10 men, but it would have meant that we would have had to have brought on Adrian as our backup and had to use one of our subs. We didn't use all 5 subs anyway, but we would have had to use one of our subs initially.
I had a Tiger, you know.
Right. And we would have not only had to bring him off, we would have had to bring off someone else on the pitch as well to accommodate that too. So that would have been hurt. That would have been painful. We would have been technically playing with 9 men in essence, you know, in the outfield at least. And Hyler says, faced precisely 0 shots with an XG of 0.0 in the first half. Great claw away soon after, but yet again, no chance with Manu. Curled one top corner, let down by his defenders not doing their job. Stayed the last minute shot low to his left. I'm still sticking with a 65, Hylor. I'm sorry. It's still 65 for me. How about for Robbo? What were you feeling about Robbo? And if any players there, if any player that you want to have some stats read out, just tell me and I'll give you some stats to give you some context to maybe solidify what your eye test took on. But how about Robbo?
I don't think he was massively bad or massively.
I don't either.
You know, at fault for anything. You know, I think he just sort of had a decent enough game, but his impact wasn't huge.
No, it wasn't.
So
I mean, he had opportunities to be huge. I mean, I did speak of those 11 corner kicks. You know, that's not including the crosses that he had the opportunities to make during the game, during the regular play. But I know Dom took some of them. I know there was 2 or 3, at least 2 or 3 short corners that ended up going straight to Maka.
Yeah, like if Robbo puts the ball into the right area, he's done his job.
Right.
You know, after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a corner that led to the goal. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna, of all the ones, he'd probably the least.
He was the best out of the back 4.
Yeah. 65 is 65 okay?
Yeah, I mean, Phillips gives him a 60. Highlord gave him a 60. Pops, what are you giving him? Um, Let me say this right now, too. Thank goodness that actually I just looked at his stats. Let me say this now, and I'm emphasizing this. We do not need shots from Robbo, and we do not need
We
shots
know
from
this.
Gomez. My, I deplore you, please, those fans that have the blessings to go to these games, stop screaming, screaming or shouting a shoot when Gomez has the ball at his feet, and don't encourage Robbo to shoot either, in case you are doing that. I'm just saying, man. I know we've gotten goals from Robbo. I'm not saying he can't shoot at all, but jeez, that he had a great shot that
Well,
he should have made something better from, and
Pops
he
Pop said it
whoa,
earlier on. Pop said earlier on that we've always been certain things.
yeah,
And one thing with Andy is Andy doesn't finish.
he
He just
doesn't.
never has. And I said it yesterday, and you know what I'm going to say.
Hmm.
If he could do all the things he could do with his
Yeah,
peak,
yeah,
world
200 million,
class,
200 million.
footballer,
Yeah,
world class fullback, brilliant cross, incredible energy, attitude, and if he was also a good finisher, then that's
mm-hmm.
freaking yeah, that's a £200 million player
Mm-hmm.
because that's literally the complete footballer on the left side. That's
Yep,
Gareth Bale. That's Gareth Bale literally, and he's playing at left back,
at fullback.
and
Yep.
he's brilliant.
And I
But
give Pops to
it's
say, he said,
their
Pops is
footballers,
saying they are footballers too.
yeah.
And when they get into the box, should be able to hit the target. Absolutely. Well, one, his shot technically from where the shot map is showing it, it was out. Both shots were outside the box. Technically, they were very close to being inside the box. But even the one I'm talking about, the one shot in the 63rd minute was blocked. That one was like just on the outskirts, if not like on the line of the box. And the shot that I'm talking about that he missed horribly, that was outside the box, um, in the 21st minute. But no, man, just you know what? Feint the shot, get it to someone that can shoot it. That's what I'm saying. Feint it and just like lay it off for a Maka or a Dom if you're taking these approaches and get them the shot. Pretend like feint it as in sense of make. That's just my take. I'm sorry, but Robbo 65. I'm gonna go with a 60. I'm gonna go with 60.
Like if Robbo scored with maybe 3% of his shots, I'd
Yeah,
be I'd be surprised. Like
yeah,
that's literally just. I know it's not an excuse, but that's just Robbo. And
yeah,
when you watch him, like
yeah,
you watch these shots.
yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, everyone has bad shots, like, but the ones when Robbo gets in, and I know the ones Pops is mean a lot as well. Those ones when he comes steaming in on the back post, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
only about 6 or 7 yards out. It's usually
yeah.
on the corner of the 6 yard box, and he connects with it. And
But he
they're
doesn't
never
hit.
horrible misses. They're never like it bounces up off the ground, hits him in the face. He
Right.
always connects normally really well, but they're always just off target, just not here.
Yeah,
So you can
yeah.
tell how hard. And basically, what that shows is that he'd been working incredibly hard on his finishing technique, and he's concentrating so hard on finishing correctly that
Mhm.
he's just not getting those ones where you
He's
just
just
take a
not. Yeah,
swing
he's
at
just
it
not letting it naturally flow.
naturally, where you just ping it
Yeah,
in, or you just and come on, tell me a goal scoring left back, But
yeah, yeah.
I know the ones Pops means. It's just like, come on, Robbo, I'm scoring that one. It just seems he has that little bit of almost a Gomez-y thing about him.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
That's
Oh,
horrible.
stop that now! Stop that now! Come on, this is the people's channel. This is the people's channel, Stefano.
Stefano. Wow, that was funny. That was kind of funny. That was
Yeah,
kind
it
of funny.
was. Yeah, but we don't.
Um,
We don't condone.
yeah, we don't condone violence like that,
No,
but
even East
um,
Coast, West Coast, even
East
East
Coast,
Coast,
West
West.
Coast love. Let's get it. Let's get it in. Yeah. How about for Virgil then? Let's move on to Virgil. Our captain.
Captain, not so fantastic.
Yeah, today. I mean, this is what I will say about Virgil. 77 touches. Okay. Um, and why I say it's important to notice the 77 touches I spoke of, especially towards the middle, if not in the very beginning of the year. He was predominantly the person that was sending off the diagonals to Mo Salah. He was the person that was dictating a lot of the flow of what was going on, from at least from our center back pairing. He was getting the majority of touches when it came to dictating where, the conversion of from defense to offense, right? He's not that hasn't been the case lately. And one of the primary reasons why is a lot of teams are avoiding Van Dijk like it's the plague. Okay? Like they are not looking to engage him in any sort. It's the reason why. Did you hear much from Højlund yesterday? Did you hear Højlund's name being mentioned too often? Højlund got subbed off. Did you hear whoever was the striker for them after that? Did you hear about that guy getting a lot of because I'm trying to think of who they moved into the striker position, because Anthony, the only guys they brought in was Anthony, Amrabat, and Mount, and I don't think any of them went into the striker role. But
yeah, Rashford.
He's taking care of the guy that pretty much Van Dijk is normally probably going to be faced up against is their striker. In this case, it was going to be Højlund. Højlund was, I forgot he was on the pitch at times. And that's because they do not go through Van Dijk. And that means you're going to have a lot more.
No, why go through when you go around?
I was going to land right here and say you're going to have a lot more focus being placed on that other center back, whoever is that center back pair. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, like, why go through and you can go around it?
Yeah.
That's why try, and if you're an opposition team, why don't play the guy who's going to be marked by Van Dijk?
Right.
Why just get around, go the other side, or and also probably the lack of pressure from them in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't give really anybody a big score there, like at the back. So I'm going to give him 60 because again he was on the pitch and we didn't play well. He's the captain.
All right. 60. Van Dijk got 75 from High Lord. Definitely giving a couple points for the aura. Anyone else have any? If the chat has any other, you guys got to get your ratings in, because and once I give the final scoring, I'm not gonna go and bounce them up or down. 68 from Stefano. Okay. Yeah, I think a 65 is a decent score for him. Didn't have that much to really do yesterday. All things said, 3 clearances, 1 shot block, 1 interception, 1 tackle, 77 touches, like I said earlier, but he was 94% for his passing. So 65 out of 69, that's pretty good. He had 2 duels for 2 ground duels, 1 out of 2 for ground duels, 1 out of 2 for his aerial duels.
That's not brilliant. He's losing 50% of his duels.
Yeah. But he only had 2 of them to take on.
But that's what I'm saying. So he only had. That's the thing where I can just throw that off. Van Dijk lost half his duels yesterday. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could. That's one way you can manipulate you certainly can manipulate the stats to say that. Yeah. But he only lost the ball. Possession lost, 4 possessions lost. Only committed 1 foul. 1 out of 2 for his long balls. Nothing spectacular. Had no shots. That's another thing, though. He had 1 block shot. Excuse me, 1 block. He committed to 1 block shot. Excuse me, but he didn't have any shots. That's what I was referencing. Still, though, I would have liked to have seen him get. I would have liked to have seen us do better. If we're going to get 11, 12, 13 sometimes, type corner kicks, let's get one of those. I'd like to see us connect with one of those balls to one of our center halves.
that's something that we got to work on. I don't know who our corner coach is, but that's got to be the first priority. All right, here's the band. Here's the rip the band-aid off type situation. We all know what he did. We all know that was a turning point in the game. Kwanzaa had a good game other than that mental mistake. He had a decent game. 88% for his passing, 81 out of 92, 97 touches. Again, that's what I mentioned. That's why I wanted to mention earlier. 97 touches went through Kwanzaa. He obviously had the error leading to the goal. He was fouled once. He's committed no fouls himself. Was 3 for 3 for ground duels, 1 out of 3 for aerial duels. Lost the ball 11 times, but had 1 clearance, 2 tackles. That's it. That's all the stats that I have for him. What are we going to do for Kwanzaa?
55, and hopefully this is one of those happens along the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't great for us that it happened yesterday, but ideally he never makes that mistake again, because that's the ideal scenario here. Is like he's never done it before. Probably he never thought it might go wrong. Now he realizes that can go wrong if you're not switched on, and he doesn't make that mistake again. That's all we can hope for, really.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's been superb. He was probably not even too much of a worry for the manager. This is what I'm saying about the aura of Old Trafford having been gone.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we would have been like, wow, 2 kids out there, Bradley, Kwanzaa.
Yeah.
Now it's not even an issue for us.
Yeah. It's what's scary about it, or not scary, but what's kind of telling of this year with the injuries that we've had. That was the point and mention that I made earlier about the fact of there was a moment in the season or in this campaign that if you had that right side that's been heavily afflicted by injuries, you normally would have seen a veteran, more veteran presence in one of the positions, whether it's right back being Gomez, or maybe right center half being Konate, or even Gomez in the right center half possibly. Obviously, with Matip, early portion of the year that was a given. But because of injury, and at that, I think it was the FA Cup matchup when we were all surprised, I believe, when we got to see us go, when he finally said, I don't have much of a choice, or at least maybe it was, I don't know if it was more of he didn't have much of a choice, or if it was more so he just believes in the productivity that he would have gotten from the players, and that he started a right side that was youth academy players, technically,
Yeah. Stefano was saying we should remind ourselves. We remind everyone every week. We remind everyone every week that he's a kid.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
We never stop hammering that home that he's.
Oh, that's Hylor that said it, not Stefano.
Yeah. Hylor. Yeah, sorry, so Hylor.
He says we should probably remind ourselves that Kwanzaa is a rookie. A couple of really good interceptions in the remainder of the first half. Continued his good form. He's 21 after all, and in his first season. I get that much. I definitely have that in mind. I definitely wanted to say, I don't want to knock the young man's confidence whatsoever.
Especially, sorry, and I think we should reiterate that we completely, everyone here will say that what's after happening apparently after the game in terms of some of the things that have been said, then we all know that this is what happens to young black players in England when, and if no one minds me saying that makes that they make a mistake.
And Saka, it doesn't reflect on the mistake, or even it doesn't even sometimes reflect on the comments don't even reflect sometimes on their ability. It goes straight to race, and that is freaking disgusting.
And unfortunately, as we heard earlier on, some of this stuff is now going on. And this is
Yeah.
where the support structures, this is where fans need to, like Eva
Rally
was
around
saying,
each other. Yeah.
and just remind ourselves that he's a kid. Now, I think we all know, even you can see from his pictures there, that he clearly has broad shoulders. He will have seen what happened to the likes of
Sure.
Saka.
Yeah.
He will
He has
not
seen
be,
what happened
yeah,
to Rashford, you know.
he will not
Yeah.
saying he'd be expecting this, but he will be almost sort of in a degree ready for it when it did happen. I suppose might be a
Klopp
way
said
of
it
putting it.
himself. Klopp said it himself. He needs to not he needs to turn off his notifications on his social media. He
Delete
does not. He
just
basically needs to not look at social media right now.
yeah, because there's um there's a serious young man in there, and there's a serious young player in there. And
Mhm.
Liverpool as a city doesn't do racism. It just doesn't.
No, you know what?
It
Liverpool
you
as a
know
city, this much I can, and this is again one of the beautiful aspects of Liverpool. One, so many people ask me, "Oh, why did you pick Liverpool? Or why have you radiated towards Liverpool as being the club that you follow?" And I go, this happened long after had become a Liverpool fan, but it just assured me of the beauty of what Liverpool represents. And during an era when there has been a lot of backlash against Muslim players, for instance, I live in a country where, like, as in, there was some really ugly takes against the Muslim people, and if anything, sometimes not even people that were Muslim, people that just for that give all that might have like a there's like I'm trying to think of there's like some
Sikhs,
Sikhs, exactly. For I was
brown
going to say
people,
I'm trying to think
brown
of what
people
their
basically.
headdress is called, but I'm just thinking of like
Turbans. They
there's
wear
the turbans and
turbans.
such.
Yeah.
Um, there's even like an ignorance that it goes even further where they would just be like, oh, he looks like him, so he looks like some like the like a Muslim, so let's go against something on those lines. And what occurred when Mo Salah became such a worldwide figure, it was noted that it desensitized the some of that racist stigma that can be attached to some of these players because of their religious background or because of their ethnicity, and that was something that I was like proud of Liverpool for doing, like as in, and the sense that they not only took on this, but his impact and his emergence as a player definitely brought some people more into, brought them out of the shadow of ignorance and brought them more into the light of accepting this person just as a player, just as a person, as opposed to always connecting his race or his ethnicity or his religion to who the person is. And that was beautiful. That was something that I really appreciate Liverpool about.
Well, that's when football shows when it can be the power for good.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly. Yeah,
do it a lot anymore. It doesn't do it as much as it used to,
yeah.
but that's when you can override all the money and all of that and can actually, show the good. And but then with the good comes the bad. So
Good comes to bad. So then, all right. So let me see these. Let me
you
see these
rally.
ratings. Okay, so I'm gonna put these ratings in. So let's see. Let's see. Stefano gave no. That's for VVD. I think that's for VVD too. I think that's for VVD. Okay, so this is the ratings for Kwanzaa. 57 from Stefano, 65 from Philip. Pop said BBQ was good outside of the era and picked his head up and finished the game. 55 from him. Um, what was your rating, real quick, for him? Then what are you going to give him? Uh, I see you're on. I see you're on mute. I was going to give him either like a 50, if not a 45 or a 50. Look, that unfortunately that error, and he played well. He picked himself up. He didn't let it affect him to the point where he was like a sunken shell of a person from that point on. But that error changed the game. That error was a pivotal game changer, unfortunately. we could have put that game to bed easily in that second half, and the sheer fact that error gave not only the Red Devils life, it gave that crowd life. So I would have taken off harshly for that. So I'm not going to go as harsh as I originally said, like a 45 or something, but
I would have gone with a 50.
Yeah.
That's where I'm
going. Yeah, I'm not going to go as harsh as say a 45, but I am going to keep it 100 and say a 50. How about for Connor? Another youth player. Look, if there is anything that I would say about Connor's play or Connor's contribution yesterday, that early booking definitely was a wild challenge.
Yeah.
He's fortunate to have gotten just a yellow from that, especially when you saw it on the replay. If with us and VAR, it only takes the wrong guy on VAR to say, "Hey, maybe you should have a look at this challenge, and upgrade the yellow to a red." It would have been harsh if he gotten a red for that. I'm gonna keep it 100, but it could have been a possible red.
But this is where also we do talk about that stuff that we don't like, where a referee goes, "I could send you off," But it's early doors. You're a young kid. It's Old Trafford. It's not egregious. It's not like I have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
So we sometimes, that's when we talk about when a referee plays the occasional little bit, has a little bit of common sense, because like you say, if he goes off that early, so I think hopefully there was a little bit of that in it, because like you said, on another day he's getting what's his name?
I think it was.
What's his name up in the VAR?
I think Taylor is a horrible referee. Don't get it twisted. I think he's a horrible referee. He's possibly top 5 worst referees in the league. But I also know that Anthony Taylor gave definitely some leeway. I don't understand how he didn't give, for instance, Bruno a card after Bruno was angry that he didn't get a foul called on him.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
On a challenge where he was freaking offsides.
Hey, Cedric.
And not only was it that sad that he was offsides, he got off and told the referee to F off. He told him to F off. No yellow, no nothing. Not even a stern talking to.
Yeah.
But that's what we get from Bruno.
There we go. He's got that invisibility cloak. We know.
Yeah. Yeah, he's on some Assassin's Creed style, like visibility cloak.
Oh, I hate that game. I hate that game.
Like, you don't like that game? Oh.
What's that whole game is basically climb to the top of that thing. That's all that game about, is about climb to the top of things. I just don't get it.
Top of the thing. I got you. Yeah.
It's always a climb up there, climb up there.
I get you on that. That's one way of saying it. Yeah.
But let's not get too off track. Yeah,
let's not get too off track. Yeah.
60.
All right, so Connor, what are we giving Connor, guys? And I have Tyler stealing some of my glory, but 3 meetings, 87 shots, but no victories for. I think it was 87. I thought the stat was 87 shots for the last 3 games for United. But if it's the 3 meetings between us, then that's a different story. Yeah. Certainly is a pretty pathetic record, if that. Hyler gives him a 60. Stefano gave him a 60. Big up to Cedric, by the way, as well.
And we should give him extra bit of
I know.
an extra bit of props for actually playing the game on that card.
Yeah.
Because we talk about like Fernandinho, even Endo now does it for us, but everyone, Rodri, everyone has this guy that can take an early yellow in defensive midfield if they have to, and then be smart enough to play the game without getting another one. Fabinho was a master at it.
Mm.
Fabinho get a yellow card after 3 minutes and go, yeah, I'll be grand. Don't worry about it. I know what to do. I know I can't get one. Bradley then has to play a big game like that. And as I was saying last night, in a right back position, like in that defensive midfield position, you can get caught out. Of course, you can get a yellow by getting tricked. And if someone makes you make a challenge you shouldn't make by being too quick. But you can kind of pick and choose. As a right back, it's much easier to get skinned by somebody running at you and just mistime a challenge, just get it wrong through no fault of your own. Just, because the guy skins you or he dribbles past you and you try and get, and damn, you're going to get a yellow. As soon as you make it, you go, oh no, I caught him. That's a yellow. But it's your job as a right back. Yeah, he did really, really well
with that yellow. That was big for him to play on with the yellow and not. It didn't look like it affected his game that dramatically. I just think though that you've got to do better. I mean, every team, no matter if it's Connor Bradley, no matter if it's Joe Gomez, no matter if it's Trent Alexander-Arnold, they're going to target our right side. It's obvious. No matter, I know High Lord looks at a lot of stats. If you look at the heat maps or you look at where the benefit or the majority of the play is going to be dictated towards, it's going to be that right side. So getting a yellow doesn't help that cause, but yeah, certainly. I'm gonna put since we gave Kwanzaa 50, I'm gonna put him at a 55. I know he got a bunch of 60s, but I'm gonna knock him down a couple points. Dominic, how about we move to our midfield? Saw a good early effort that obviously I spoke on earlier. That was a good save by Onana. What's his name? And then he had 4 shots in the first 20 minutes. Created a good opportunity for Salah, but kind of ran out of steam a little bit, I guess you could say. It ran out of gas towards the second half, and that's possibly why we saw him get subbed off. We didn't see, he kind of took on a more secondary role in the second half too. He was looking for a goal in the beginning. He took, like I said, 4 shots in the first 20 minutes. And then after that, pretty much, let me see, after that, he had one, after that first 20, he had another shot in the 26th minute, but after that, he didn't take shots. He didn't really get any shots. So what are we giving him?
I give him a 55.
55? Okay.
Yeah.
How about for the chat? What are we giving him for the chat? Dom got a 57 from Stefano. Hyler gave him a 60. Hyler, I thought you're talking about Vikings before. I thought you weren't happy about the Vikings.
Depends which country they're from.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm excited. I love Vikings. There's a show I love the show. The new season just came on Netflix, so I'm kind of excited about that. But
there's loads of guys from Waterford in that.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, the one that's filmed in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
There's loads of,
bet. A lot of extras.
Yeah,
I bet. Because a lot of that whole red beards and or those scruffy style looks and stuff.
Yeah, we have we're Ireland. This is a Viking city. We have Viking towers and walls here, and we have tons of this is Viking Disneyland kind of. If you're into Vikings, it's not famous, but yeah, Waterford was built by the Vikings, so we have Viking towers here and
that's cool.
Viking museums and all. Yeah, so there's a load of guys here that are always that were into the Viking shit because it's basically Viking central here. There's Water from Dublin. Waterford's an older city than Dublin, Viking wise. So there's a load of guys that were always kind of they were always doing Viking reenactment shit or drama stuff. So loads of them are in that.
Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this statement by Hydlor this was probably Dom's least impressive match from what he can see from the, at least from the numbers, at
Nah,
least.
he's been much worse. He's been much worse in other games. Come on, man. Even in the last few weeks, he's been much worse.
Mm-hmm.
On the I just watching it, yeah, maybe stats wise, but if you watching it, there's been a couple of games where he was completely anonymous. He was working, he was doing the worker a bit, but he was complete. This is what we were talking about earlier on about shifting him over to the left and getting him involved more. Because there was games previous to this season where he was obviously on the pitch, but really just didn't impact the game at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, then I'm going to say, oof, I guess I was going too high. Because I was going to give him a 65, but no, I think I'm being coerced. What were you going to give Dom?
60 then? 60
60?
sounds about right. 60 sounds
60?
about right from what
Yeah,
everyone's
I
saying.
think a 60 feels a little bit better, actually. All right. Well, oops, I know it says 65. I'm going to make it 60. There you go. Alexi. I thought McAllister was one of our better players. I'd say he's definitely in some minds he was number one. Another, in my mind, he was the second best player on the pitch for yesterday. But that's not saying much. What were you going to say? What were we going to give Mac 10?
Yeah, be short and sweet with him. 65 or a 70.
Okay.
I'd be happy with a 65 or a 70, whatever way people go.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to see what the chat gives them. See if because sometimes we can all be biased and have the whole concept of other previous games and every such.
And he
gave him an 80. Okay, 80.
Sorry,
That was the man of the match for him. Okay.
Stefano is saying, I don't like this new exotic Henderson thing, but anyway, Dom will improve next season. Yeah, I think Dominic for me is one of those guys who, with a new manager coming in, we have the potential to see. Look, the new manager might play him exactly the same kind of way, but if he sets up in a very different way, and we have a different formation, you could very easily see. Not like we're saying, not the Hungarian Dom, because he's just there. He's there messy, He does it. Not saying does everything, but he's their main man. So I think if a new manager came in and played him in a more attacking role than he is now, in whatever way that might be,
right?
Yeah, he's someone I think we might
dominates more so. Yeah, but even with Mac, well, we're dealing with Mac. With Mac, at least, I know you're speaking on Dom, but like with Mac, at least for me, also. I like that in the Land Cruiser Jeep with the Mac 10 by the seats. I like that a lot, brother. I like that. When we do play Mac in that advanced 8 role, we see what a difference that is than him in that 6. And despite the fact that we were so pressed to have to go and put him in that 6 because we're going to bring on Curtis and we're going to still try to bring on Elliott and we're going to keep that front 3 or keep a front 3 of forwards going forward and try to do more of like that. Have in essence, even though he was technically a DM, we're going to press him further forward. I still like the fact that I'm now to the point where I just primarily want to see him in that 8 role, because it's one of those things where you're just not. We didn't get what we got from a lot of from those other games that everyone was raving about from Mac. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why we only got one shot, and that one shot from him was a blocked shot yesterday. So yeah, that really was kind of disappointing to see. What were you going to give Mac 10?
Not what I was hoping for either. but considering his form over the last few games, really been kind
Mhm.
of unlocked by having a proper number 6 in there. And the things he's doing are coming off. So the more you do something, the more times something comes off for you, the more you get confident. You try things, and the more you try things, the more things come off, and you basically go from there. So the pass to Salah, for example, to create that goal,
Mhm.
that long range shot from outside the box. He's trying things are coming out. He knows now he belongs in this team. He's good enough to be a creative fulcrum in this team.
Mhm.
He knows that perhaps it might be his biggest job now is to be
Yeah.
that creator, because
Yeah.
this is the Alexis McAllister I used to see a lot at Brighton, and it was very much like this because McAllister, again, going down the fantasy football route, was a points machine at Brighton, and you get
Mhm.
points from goals and assists, right? And he was on penalties. But you had to watch Brighton very, very, very closely, because what they would do a lot of times would, one week he'd be playing as a number 8 or a number 10, and the other
Right.
week he'd be playing as a number 6.
Right.
And you had to, because when he played as a number 6, he wouldn't get you any points. But as soon as they played him at a number 8, he was scoring goals, he was making assists, he was taking penalties. So if you put him in one role, that's why I knew from watching him. It's like, put him in the 6, he's a good player. He's a great player. He's a great number 6. Not the world's best or anything, but when you put him in the 8 or the 10,
Mhm.
watch what he can do. Because he
Exactly.
did
Yeah.
it in the Premier League. He didn't
Yeah.
do it in Porto. He didn't do it in Italy. I watched him do it in the Premier League, week in,
Yeah.
week out, against good
Yeah.
teams, against small teams. Pure class. The only thing he doesn't have is crazy pace. So he
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
need it. He's not the world's fastest player, but again, you
But if
can't
you
have
but if
everything.
you start pushing him up further up the pitch, you don't
Doesn't need
necessarily need
pace.
pace. Yeah,
No,
because
and he
there's
has
less.
legs.
Yeah.
It's Endo's legs in behind him. You see,
Yeah.
but he's so intelligent, and the most important thing about him, as far as I'm concerned, and it is the difference between a good player and a top player, is his composure on the ball. That's it. I've seen him 3 or 4 times now where 2 boys have closed him down, 3 people have closed him down, and he just
Mhm.
looks one way, touches the ball the other, and just walks away from it. It's just that pure composure on the ball. He
Yeah.
he wears number 10 for us. He doesn't wear number 10 for Argentina, but he's just won the World Cup with Argentina.
Yeah. That's true.
This guy does not worry me one bit.
Um. So I'm gonna give him a 70. Is that okay with you? Is that around
Yeah,
your
that's what I
rating? I
said. Yeah, I
saw a lot
said
of people
70.
give
Yeah.
him. He got an 80. He got a 70. He got an 80 from Hylor, 70 from Stefano. Pops, I think, gave him a 75. So I'm gonna give him a 70, I think. How about for Wataru? Wataru, this was possibly not, I wouldn't say it was his worst game, but it wasn't his best game. Um, gave away a few free kicks, mistimed a couple different tackles to give up those free kicks. What was not his normal efficient self, to say the least.
A
Um,
very 60, a very 55, 60 kind of game, I think.
yeah, yeah, I would go that far. Yep, I would go that far for him too. I was gonna say Philip gave him a 60. I'd
Yeah,
give him a
okay.
60 too.
Cool.
I give him a
Okay,
60.
60. Yeah.
How about for Wataru Endo 60? Yeah, everyone's giving 60s. Both a decent game and a non-eventful one. For the Gum Show, Gorgon will be better this. The Gum Show Gorgon will be better this week. Yeah, hopefully so. Europa hopefully is going back to the confines of Anfield will definitely be good. Wataru under par gave him 57. Stefano.
So
How about for Diaz? How
yeah.
about for Diaz? I would love to hear what people want to say about Diaz. I thought I mentioned how I said there was like, look, I don't want to give a man of the match because whenever we lose or especially when we draw the way we did, there's really not much of accolades of being man of the match for that.
No, I only
But
do.
I would have said that I know people out there have Mac 10 as being their man of the match or have possibly that best player, and I said that he's in the top 2. I would say the reason why he's top 2 is because I think Diaz had the best game yesterday, to be honest with you. And that's not saying much. I'm not saying he had an incredible game. I thought he had a good game, though. I thought he had a decent. I mean, you got to give him super credit for the fact that was a well-taken goal. Okay. Again, another very, very, very opportune stylistic approach towards being in the right place at the right time and knowing how to finish the job. I get it. He did miss a very, very vital miss towards the end of the game. He had, what do you have? 6 shots. That last one was I think in the 94th minute. That one hurt the most. But had an XG of 0.99, 2 shots on goal, 3 shots off target, 1 shot block, 6 out of 10 for his dribbling attempts, 1 big chance missed. That's the one I just spoke of. 63 touches, was 85% for his passing. Had 3 key passes in a lot of the buildup, 2 for 2 for long balls. Created a big chance himself. Most notably, the one thing that is a factor that takes away from it, and I'm cool with bringing out the stats that aren't good stats. I'm not just going to read off the good stats and leave out the bad ones. 7 for 20 for ground duels. That's not good enough. And 1 for 4 for aerial duels. That's not good enough either. But he is initiating, trying to be, heavy workload, put in a lot of effort. Trying to initiate things. Had a couple. Maybe that pass to Salah should have been more in front of him. He kind of passed it. He kind of passed it to the man as opposed to pass it to the space. That's what kind of reasoning for that.
Yeah.
What would you have given Diaz?
I think I'm reluctant to overpraise him for the goal.
Mm-hmm.
He got it, but I think that's probably why. I mean, I think he should be just for that shot that he missed.
Mm-hmm.
I can't read. I don't like that's for me. It's just
so that's the detractor.
It's infuriating. Yeah, look. I don't want this. I don't expect it. I'm like. He is on at the moment, if we want to talk about stats, for the season, Premier League for the season, he scores with exactly 10% of his shots. So 1 in 10 is where he's at right now.
Yeah.
He is minus 2.3 on his XG. So his XG for the season is 10.3. He scored 8.
Brian with this, bringing out the stats, Brian. Okay.
These aren't stats. These be facts.
Mm-hmm,
no, but they are. Yeah. No, these are. This is what he's on. 10.38 scores with exactly 10% of his shots in the league.
Mm-hmm. 8 goals in the league so far.
That's what I see. That's what I see.
He has been. You can say this though. He has been. He's
picked it up of late.
Yeah.
That's that would be because the court that is for the season. So yeah, if you were to take his last 6 games, probably be different. But let's look at him for the season. He's scoring 10% of his shots, and that's, to me, it's he does look like someone who is pretty much. I mean, as the guy says here, it probably means he's taking the wrong shots.
What is your rating then for him?
I'm going to go 60 because he should have.
Oh, wow.
He should have missed that, or he shouldn't have missed that. He should not have missed that chance. Why? What is that?
No.
Are other people going 80s and shit like
no,
that?
No. Most of them have been where I would have put him. Bayesian put him at a 70. Hyler put him at a 72. Non-stop work rate as usual, and made several decent runs. Philip had him at a 70. Stefano had him at a 65, but more so 70s. I had him a 70.
Give him a 70, so or 65 is what it looks like.
I'm gonna stick with a 70. I do give him credit for the look.
I do give him credit for the goal, but he loses
goal,
the miss.
Considering that, I get that you take away for his miss, and that's understandable. I'm not picking that out. But what I will say this though, I have to give him massive credit for that goal because it was our only regular in play goal. Like our other goal was a penalty.
I know,
obviously.
I know.
So and that goal really was one of the few bright spots that we had in that first half, and certainly I think that goal really solidified the Red Devils dropping down in a level of confidence after that goal was scored. If it wasn't for the mistake that we spoke on earlier, I think that goal could have been a real difference maker in the game, except for that error that occurred really kind of washed it out. That was a real sea change for it, but all the same, all good.
Well, Stefano, just quickly, Stefano was saying Luis had 13 and 4 assists in all comps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that, but I had the data I have is the stats for the Premier League, so that's what the XG is. So I couldn't give the XG. I don't know what the XG. It's Prem XG, and the 10% is in the Prem. I don't know what it is in all comps. So I'm just saying.
No, I get it. The scoring frequency is 267 minutes. That's horrible. That's not good. But his XG is 10.34. Like you said, he's got 8 goals. But it's like his goals per game is 0.3. That's not good. 2.7 shots per game. He should probably taking more shots. But I mean, but let's move on to Darwin, because this is someone else that Darwin had a couple of really. This is a game I was hoping that Darwin would have really used as his breakout, make himself as being the ambassador that I always call him. My nickname I've coined for him. Being the Raider, being the Raider here. Just didn't do it for me today. 5 shots. It's one of the reasons why I possibly got taken off. It was just that he just wasn't connecting. Had a good shot on goal that ended up going over the bar. It wasn't on goal, I should say. A good shot towards the goal, because he only had 3 shots off target, 2 shots blocked. So technically, yeah.
No, I think he had 5 shots off target versus United.
No, or at least the stats I'm looking at. There's 3 shots. 2 of them were blocked. He has 3 shots. The stats I'm looking at have him 3 shots. 3 shots on target. Let me double check to make sure. Yep. 3 shots on target, 2 shots blocked. That's the stats I have. 1 big chance missed. 27 touches. 5 in total. 3 shots.
What I've got here is he had 5 shots off target, so he couldn't have had 3 on target.
No, I didn't say anything. He had 0. He had 0 on target. He had 0 on target.
Yeah, no, sorry. You must have misspoke accident. You said 3 on, so it's 3 off and 2 blocked.
Yes, 3 off, 2 blocked.
What I have is.
I'm sorry if I misspoke. Off. I apologize for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. If what I have here is 5 off, but those Diaz stats is from the list basically of the top 10 players underperforming their XG in the Premier League this season. So in the Prem this season, the top 10 players underperforming their XG. I know everyone will get it from that.
Right.
Diaz was
10th.
Diaz was 10th. So if your XG is 2 when you scored 1 goal, then you're -1. But Diaz was 10th on that list. You want to guess where Darwin Núñez is on that list?
No, I don't want to get sad. I don't want to get sad.
He's 3rd on the list.
Yeah.
He's 3rd on the list. His XG is 14.7. He scored 11.
Wow.
Now, and the side stat is, and this is the criticism of Mo Salah we've been hearing. Nobody in the Premier League takes more shots. Nobody in the Premier League has more shots than Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, I believe it.
So we talk about Mo taking too many shots. The only people, if you're interested, above Darwin in that list, number 1, Dominic Calvert-Lewin on -5.9. And number 2 is Nicholas Jackson on -4.4. So
And
Darwin comes in third on -3.7.
That's not good to be behind those numbers.
Oh, you want to be, but you want to be much further. Yeah, no, you don't want to be top of that. You want to be bottom of that. That's you don't want to be number one. You don't want to be you don't want to be in the top 10. And the other thing is, Erling Haaland is 5th, -2.8. So for context, but who isn't on that list? Mo Salah. Mo Salah isn't even in the top 10, and we say he takes too many shots and he doesn't score enough. He's not even in the top 10, underperforming his XG.
Yeah.
So
that's a good question too. Yeah, people are asking about big up Rep for Life, big up. Drunk's asking, what are the output stats against the Big Six in Prem games for Darwin, Mack, and Spusley? I'll look into that. I'll get you that. I'll get you that number.
Top 6 is
stats
difficult.
On Darwin hasn't scored a goal versus anyone in the top 6 this season. That hurts. That hurts. It takes away.
It's very.
Yeah, I know. He's always got an open invitation to join us always. But all right, so then for Darwin, what are we going to put Darwin at? I guess I'm going to have to go lower than the initial. I was going to give him a 60, but.
Well, we can't ignore the flick on header.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to give him. That's why I was going to give him a 60.
I give him maybe a 5% because that is classic great for center forward play.
Mm-hmm.
That you go for the corner, you flick it on. You're not going to don't flick it on, and he did it properly. So I'm giving him 5. So that's a 50. That's a 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a 50 for me, and that's including the 5%.
Okay. Philip gave him a 58. Hyler gave him a 60. I was initially going to give him a 60. I think who else? Did anyone else give him a rating? 52 from Stefano.
No agendas here, Stefano. No agendas here. No agendas here.
No agendas here. Yeah.
Pops. I'm
going to stick with. I'll stick with 50. Yeah, it's not a great score. 55 from Pops. Yeah, I'll do a 58. I'll go a couple. I'll bump them down. Or maybe. How do we do a 57? How about that? Give him a Heinz 57. He was catch up. He needs to catch up.
Yes.
He needs to catch up. How about that? That's a dad joke, and I'm not. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, how about to the man you just spoke
Pulp Fiction line. It's either a dad joke or it's a Pulp Fiction line. Call it a Pulp Fiction.
It's a Pulp Fiction reference. That's a good one. Yeah. What did the one tomato say to the baby tomato? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mohamed Salah. What are we saying about Salah? And then I'm only gonna go at length on one particular player for our subs, but and he's the first one in our subs, so I know. So let's just get through Salah. Let's just rip off the Band-Aid for Salah, because I already know there is a lot of interesting takes on the the Sell Salah episode that we did. A lot of some misreporting. Yeah, some misconceptions of what I was trying to get at, which is kind of sad.
But it was interesting that even without it being set up that way, when we did the Mo Salah show, we had 3 options, and everybody on the panel actually genuinely wanted one of the 3 options. You genuinely wanted to extend.
Yep.
I genuinely wanted to keep until the end of his
Yes, to
contract,
see out the contract. Yep.
and Zuberi wanted to sell. So we had three completely different opinions.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it
all of us
wasn't
had
like it was
reasonings
this.
as to why.
Yeah.
All of us
So
had our own individual reasons as to why
yeah.
we thought our tacts were correct. It's very interesting. But look, Salah is a red. Long may continue to be a red. But all the same, what was your interpretation of him again? I don't know what is going on with Salah right now, in my own opinion, humble opinion, but had a couple of pretty basic saves that he made Onana do, from the edge of the box. But he had me and even Klopp. Remember the comment in the watch along that I made about how, like, when people give, normally it's one thing that we've seen from our coach. We'll see attempts that end up going like a wayward attempt, or at least it's attempt that gets a save or something like that. And Klopp, rather than go and do the whole like hands in the head, or like, like rather than like be the demonstrative, he'll give the clap. He'll turn around and give the clap, being like, good effort, let's go again. You know what I mean? That wasn't the case yesterday.
No,
He
because
was pretty upset about it. And he was especially upset about the one shot that he had in the box that he ended up woefully missing. Okay. It was it was over from 10 yards out sharply before the break. It was right before the break. He had one that he's woefully missed. And what was even worse was the miss followed. He had one that he had in the second half that was as bad, if not worse. And it was something where it was like, I don't know. We gave him the spot kick, obviously, and he got his goal. But and credit to do, because look, as much as people think penalty kicks is easy, it is not. It's a lot of it's a guessing game from the keeper. Sometimes the keeper is going to guess right, and he's just going to get a step on you. Sometimes it doesn't matter where you put it. The keeper can sometimes just get to that spot. So, let me make sure I bring the Irishman back here. It was raining. It was windy. I get all those concepts and everything else. He absolutely did well to put the ball away for the spot kick, but I was ready to do a Klopp myself and turn my back and just wait to hear what the Irishman or whatever I heard from the crowd, because I did not want to watch it. I did not want to watch him take that spot kick. That's sad.
You can see with Klopp, it's old. He knew what it meant. He can't do the whole clapping and laughing and saying, "Yeah, no worries, Mo." Like, he knows now. This is serious. This is like a Pop said it before the game.
I saw. Okay.
It's business today. That's what he said. And we didn't do this. Klopp knows there's no time for hugs and laughing, and there'll be another game. No, this is the home straight now. He'll be watching.
He needs to sharpen up. No, Pop said it's. I'm gonna read up Pop's and Hylor's comments. It says the half volley and the shot from the Lucho pass, which was behind him, and I did state that earlier, were harder than we thought. Well done on the pen though, but he needs to sharpen up. That's Pop saying that, and then Hylor and Pop's Mo is one of Pop's guys. He loves Pop's or loves Mo. In a sense of one of his favorite players at least. Hylor says dangerous as an outlet in the first few minutes, but his shots were tame early on, and second half was more frustrating overall, though, as he was unable to hold up play, combined in the box, etc. His ability to take on players, his ability to get the shots that which are normally easy goals or almost assured goals for him, just not working out for him right now at the moment. That's frustrating. The guy had 6 shots yesterday. He had 4 of them coming in the first half. 2 of the most notable ones I said at the end of the first half, and at the very somewhat beginning of the second half in the 79th minute, he had one too. I'm sure he does a 12th man as one of his defenders. Oh yeah, okay. What about him? Oh, whoops! I gave away my score. What? Yeah, maybe he has cut his hair too short.
But don't forget also, we're bringing up, like, he is playing basically with almost a whole new team, a whole new right hand side with Bradley and Sabazai, and even Diaz and Nunes are relatively new to the club. So Mo is also working in it. Basically, he's lost his boys. He's lost his Genie.
Oh well, if that's the case, then yeah. If he can't sing simply because
No, I'm not saying no. What I'm saying,
Bell Biv and DeVoe have left New Edition. Then
no, that's what I'm saying. No, but what I'm saying is we also, like, we need to take into account that he's playing with new people. That the combinations aren't there yet. You know, that kind of telepathy that he would have had worked up. Like, he's working now, and he'll get it eventually with these players. But you still look at the thing. So I don't think there's any real. I don't think it's a coincidence that a guy that plays on the right hand side with 2 new players now, Sabazai or McAllister and Bradley, now that Trent is out as well. He doesn't have he's not the guys they don't know. So that's going to take time. You could see with the McAllister Trent pass to Salah. They're new combinations. It takes time to work up. Endo is new as well. These guys, they don't know each other. I think Mo and all these boys that work together, that was the well-oiled machine. So we needn't forget that Mo is also playing with new people. You know, it's not just the new guys plus Mo. Mo should be doing what he's doing anyway. So he's not playing with the guys who knew his game. He knew their game. He knew what they were going to do. I think Trent coming back with Mo, that if you can get McAllister linking up with Mo a bit more.
I think that I get your statement, but I was going to say, like, Pops and I agree on this part, and that's something I've been thinking. Like, he and Nunez had a good thing going early in the season. Not sure what's going on there now.
No, I said that from day one. Day one as well. Him and Nunez seemed like they really enjoyed playing off each other.
Yeah, and now even Mo. And you know what's interesting, Pops? I'm not trying to start controversy, but I heard that statement too. Mo apparently asked Mac 10 to get him the ball a little bit more. And not a little bit more, he said just more. It could be also because Mac 10 has a very strong relationship, a strong friendship / a strong friendship with Nunez.
That friendship didn't come into it in terms of who you pass the ball to them.
I get it. But I mean, you can say that. You can say that. I get it. I get it.
No, man.
Go, say your point. Say it, Brian. You can have a different opinion. I got you. Say your point. I got you. You can say it. I'm not going to interrupt you.
No, friendship. That you shouldn't pass the ball to someone because he's your friend.
I wasn't going to. Yeah. So what I was going to say.
But if you look at Andy Cole, and Dwight York, the goals they scored, they literally hated each other. Andy Cole hated Teddy Sheringham, scored a boatload of goals.
Right.
You know, it's like whoever comes in. I mean, if I find out McAllister isn't passing the ball to Mo because he wants Nunez to get goals, that, you know, Mo should be saying to him, look, you need to get me the ball here more when I'm in these positions. This is what I'm saying about them learning each other's game.
You're spot on, but that's what. Where I was going to land my point with the friendship concept is this. You tend to, it's similar to, like, for myself or for, like, you know, I know, and I'll make this is a basketball reference. I understand that, but it applies to all sports. When you train with certain players, like when we play basketball, I would train with certain players, some of my teammates from my team, right? And you just have a better connection with those players because you train with them more often. You know their tendencies more often. You know the extent of where they can go here or there with their unique abilities and such. And why I was referencing the friendship that they've built together is because, like, yeah, you're going to, when it's asked, oh, hey, go out there and just, like, warm up together or something like that, you're going to be able to just build up a connection, a telepathy connection, a little bit easier than others because of that friendship. That's what I was getting. That's what I'm referencing, in that you tend to have a little bit of the bond. I think one of the reasons why I've said, for instance, Elliot and Curtis Jones, I like seeing them play together, is because of not only their friendship and bond that they have off the pitch, but because it somewhat seems to generate on the pitch, and that's all I'm trying to get across. I wasn't saying that they're going to be looking for each other simply because that's my mate. I wasn't trying to say that part and point, but what I was saying is that you just kind of, like, I don't know, you know each other a little bit better. You just having just knowing that person a little bit better. The ability to have that telepathy link, is a little bit more present than elsewise. That's what I was getting across. Or that's my part.
And that, look, if I'm mates with someone off the pitch, they were saying to me, look, I need, when we're playing, like, I do this, do that. Yeah, that might work. But like I said, you had Cole and York who hated each other.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went out on the pitch, they were so good at football, they knew what to do.
Yeah.
They knew how to play, they knew how to play off another top quality striker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it helps. But obviously, it's not an essential kind of part of it. You can get two guys to go out there. A lot of times, like you see, they all have their own little cliques.
Mm-hmm.
He's out with him.
Did we even give Salah a rating? My fault. I'm sorry. I'm listening. Did we give Salah a rating? I'm sorry. Did you say a rating, by the way?
I think I said 55.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I know I want to get into these subs too.
I think I got the same Pop. I think Pop's getting. I was thinking I gave him the same as Pops. I think Pops gave him a 55.
Okay, I had him at 50. I want to make sure I wasn't rocking the boat too much.
Yeah.
No,
like I've even seen
Tyler gave him 55. Yeah.
I've even said it.
But good luck. Land your point. You're a midpoint. I apologize for interrupting.
No, that's fine. I moved on from. I'm just saying. I've even said it earlier on that the only reason he scored the penalty was because Anana moved too quick. A guy can't even win now. Like, he can't even win when he has the minerals to step up and put the penalty away. Anana moved too soon. If he hadn't moved early, he would have saved that. It's like, oh, come on. They're not even going to give him any credit for that. So we've seen the way this tide is turning. We've seen the way this narrative is shifting, and it won't matter what he did. A lot of people have given up on him now, and they're trying to rewrite the past, and they're trying to rewrite history and come down on the. Well, actually, I've been thinking about it. Now that I've been thinking about it, and now that I've been saying all week that I want to sell him, I don't think he was actually that good in the first place. He only got all these goals because of X, Y, and Z. I've seen the way it's turning, so let's just hope he gets a bit of form now. He hasn't been great, but he's taken these shots. That's enough for me. He's going to come back into form.
At some point, at some point you have to think he will find his form. I don't know. Maybe this is just thinking outside the box. We've seen him move into that center striker position before. Maybe it's doing something that we saw that reinvigorated Mane's game. Maybe it's moving him to that central spot. It would definitely open up a big question mark as to who fills in on that right wing then. But again, this is me thinking outside the box. It's not me saying he needs to be a striker or he's done it right wing or blah, blah, blah.
If you wanted to do that, if you wanted to put him in the middle, you could just you could put Nunes on the left and Diaz on the right.
Yeah, you could.
You could just do that for a game, or you could do it with Jota. But look, you'd be dropping someone or moving someone. So.
Yeah.
I'd like
No,
to
I
see.
mean, like that's just me thinking outside the box. I'm not saying whatever it is. I know that there was those people that had similar, what's the words I'm looking for? Similar attitudes towards towards some of these legends, and that being so for Mane, in the sense of a lot of people were like, oh, Mane's done, especially especially before he went to AFCON that year. They were like, there were questions of, is Klopp being too nice by letting Mane start any longer? Like people are saying that he possibly shouldn't be a starter, be that that definitive starter for us. Came back from AFCON. Obviously, AFCON helped his confidence, but also we ended up moving him central, most notably because of Bobby's absence at times due to injury. And let's not get it twisted. Mane cooked in that striker role. He was really, really, really efficient.
Mane for me was always slightly, yeah. If you had said to me who would be put central, if it was Bobby or if it was Mo or Mane, I would always put Mane up there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a bit more, just a bit more about him as a number 9. He kind of like more Gakpo-y kind of. Mane was always so good at leading the press.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas he wanted Mo cutting in and doing Mo stuff.
That's true. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that persistence out of him on the press from Salah that you did out of Mane. Yeah,
Bobby and Mane used to just obviously Mo being involved, but like Mane was an absolute master, and Bobby was genius as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why we saw him get subbed off against Brighton, to be honest with you, was because I don't think his commitment to the press was to the levels that was it Brighton or what it wasn't Brighton. What was it, Brighton? It wasn't Brighton. It was the Sheffield United game, right?
When was it? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Sheffield United. Yeah,
United.
Because Brighton, he got the game winner, or he got the game winner in Brighton. But yeah, all the same. Let's get on to these subs. What are we doing? I said I was only going to speak on one person in the subs. This was the guy that I wanted to speak on. Big up to Harvey. Look, I thought Harvey, I know he doesn't like the name or like the role, not necessarily, he doesn't like, he'll take whatever role he can do to help this team prosper forward. But I know he doesn't necessarily want to be known as a super sub per se. But let's not get it twisted. I unfortunately, super sub to me isn't a negative. It shouldn't be looked at as a negative. If anything, you're saying that you're an amazing player. Even off the bench, you're an amazing player in my mind. And that's what I thought. I thought Harvey came in and brought the energy, brought a resurgence of intensity. He looks, having been in this fixture before, unlike some of the other players like Dom or even Endo or such, he looks like he knows what the gravity of this game means and what the intensity has to be when you're on the pitch. Got us that penalty. I know there are some Red Devils out there. There's quite a few Red Devils because it was trending on Twitter, calling us Liverpool once again, saying that wasn't a foul. Don't understand why and how they could say that, but all well and good. It got called as a foul on the pitch, and it got confirmed as a foul by VAR. I thought Elliott was very, very important for us yesterday. If you want to say something on Harvey, go right ahead. I don't know if you want to say something about Harvey or not, but otherwise,
I'm with you. No, look, it's not a bad tag. It's something like we have the world's most famous super sub. David Fairclough invented the term. When he went on to play something like 600 games for Liverpool, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something a player probably used to hear. And I know Fairclough hated it. Fairclough said he hated that tag being the super sub. Like you're a player, you want to be a player. You want to play. But he's in this position now where you've got, I don't know, how can he force his way in? What kind of this is a new manager one as well. Like, what's the new manager going to want to do with him? But I mean, he could go on and have a fantastic career at Liverpool for 6 or 7 more years. But at some point, he's probably going to want to play every game or be a main man. So it's an interesting one for someone that young, so good, so many games for Liverpool already. That doesn't happen very often. But yeah, no one would want to be a super sub for life. You know, and David Fairclough also hated that term as well because he actually played a lot. He did play a lot of games. So it's brilliant, but it's not what someone wants to tell him every time. Oh, don't worry, you're going to be sub, you'll be coming on. Like, by the age of 25, 26, that's not going to be good enough. But that's 4 years away. I mean, that's 10 lifetimes in football.
Yeah.
You know, so let's see what a new manager comes in. He might go, love this guy, going to start him every game. Fine.
Right.
But this 3-4-3, if you were to think this guy's going to come in and play 3-4-3, Amorim, then that leaves room for, in the midfield, that leaves room for 2 attacking fullback type players, not wingers, and 2 generally slightly more. So you're left with a 2 in midfield. That 2 is generally a defensive midfield. They're not going to, you know,
Yeah.
so if he.
Would you hindsight real quick, hindsight too, and in the chat, this is just hindsight 2020 type concept. I get that things could have been different this way or that way depending on who it is and yada yada yada. But do you think that Harvey possibly should have started this game? If we could have had that energy and that intensity and if anything, that commitment that we saw from Harvey in the final moments of the game that we got to see him in, do you think that he deserved to maybe start this game? Or is it just that he's just a super for this campaign, we need a super sub and he's just our super sub and we should just utilize him as such?
I think he made the right choice in terms of the starting 11. But you see, like, yeah, I get it. Like, of course, there's an obvious difference. Harvey's a Liverpool fan. He is someone that's going to come on with an extra energy that someone like a Szoboszlai or an Endo, as much as they might, you know, read up about it. And you always say, oh, Jamie Carragher came in and he was telling us how much it means. Look, you can't ever mean that unless you grew up in England as a Liverpool fan. You really know it. And it really gets to you and want to be out there. That's just human nature. Endo can never care as much about Liverpool v United as someone who grew up in Liverpool or England as a Liverpool fan. It's just not possible. He can come over and love the club and all that, but someone like Elliot is sitting there on the sideline, oh, just get me on here. I don't want to lose these Manx. You know, whereas the others, Szoboszlai, in 5 years' time, yeah, then you'll know what these derbies mean. But you can't really buy or inject that kind of energy and attitude that Elliot will bring. You know, but does he start? I don't know. I think he made the right choice. But this is we keep talking about this is a numbers game. There's 11 places on a pitch. So you're going to have to make awful decisions every single week. And it's not like Homer Simpson and The Simpsons where you're going, your cut, your cut, your cut. These are real tough decisions to say to somebody, you can't play. I mean, you're on the bench, but I just can't start you. You know, it's you can't, like I say, you can't buy it and you can't inject.
Yeah, he's not going to get. But yeah, so yeah, go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, sorry, just a moment. You just can't really buy that. Like Curtis Jones would know, Trent would know.
Yeah.
You know, even if Van Dijk would know, like especially as a Scouser, you just can't buy that. You can't teach someone from Thailand or wherever how much it means. Like, it's just in their blood. These guys to go out there and do more and try harder, but it's no reflection on anyone else. Sometimes that goes over into bad energy. But maybe 10 minutes earlier. Sorry, yeah, maybe 10 minutes earlier would have been better.
Maybe 10 minutes earlier, yeah.
Maybe 10 or 15. Yeah, I've come to this conclusion as I'm talking. But yeah, maybe if you come on 10, 15 minutes earlier for someone. That might have been a better shot.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna get through these ratings real quick, and then I'm gonna bring up a question I put into the chat, and then I'm gonna see what they have to say too. See what you have as well.
I'll just let you do the ratings from here on in because I'll go with you. So you're doing quick.
Okay, no worries. All right, well then for Harvey, I gave Harvey a 76. I thought he was possibly one of the. I mean, look, he got us the result. Got to give him credit for that in the sense of getting us the penalty. Obviously, Mo still has to put the penalty in, but all the same, played well, put in a lot of effort. I went with Cody. I gave him a 65. I didn't think Cody had a great game at all. If anything, thinking on it, if anything, more so than not, maybe even I even dropped him to a 60. I think about it more. Didn't have any shots, didn't really bring anything else, but he was connected in trying to push. He did come on with energy. He did come on with press. He did try to get initiated into the flow. Just no one was looking for him, unfortunately. I don't know if that says something or not. Joe Gomez, because none of these ratings are really great. I gave him a 65. Basically, I thought that Joe Gomez wasn't spectacular. Anything great. He just came on to basically not have a right back that has a yellow card on his back. So played decent. Didn't really do anything spectacular again. And then Curtis Jones. Curtis, I rated as a. I'm gonna get my rating on here for you. Took over for Dom in the midfield, but picked up a booking really early somewhat, considering he didn't really even get the, when he got in, let's see, he got in at the 66 minutes. So he had time to really adapt and go, but it is what it is. So I gave him a 60 for his rating. And then for Klopp, I'll let you give a rating for Klopp. What was your rating for Klopp? And everyone, what's your rating for Klopp? Because I do want to get this last point before I land the show completely. Or last question before I land the show. What was your rating for Klopp? You definitely have to rate Klopp on your own.
Gotta say, I don't know, 50.
50? Wow, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
I was going to give him I was going to give him maybe a 60, if not a 65, but 50? I'm willing to go 55 for Klopp.
Wait and see what the.
It was a good card. It was. I understand that too. It was a good card to take. I'm not saying it was definitely a tactical style foul, I guess you could say, but
Daz with the 90 and JK.
I know I saw the 90 for him. I saw him.
Big up to JK and Daz.
I think the players did let him down. I think that's why you saw a very frustrated and a very intimately frustrated Klopp on the sideline. You didn't see the same, chipper, oh, hey, let's give the old college try style, concept. No, he was very, 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 very rigorous and with it. A lot of for Klopp, a lot of all over the places with it. Hyler gave him a 75. Pops gave him a 75. Obviously, Daz gave him a 90, trying to up the score, pick up Daz Reynolds. Klopp, JK, big up JK. Hope that you're doing well, by the way, JK. Yeah. Big up JK. Klopp gave him a 50, or Klopp gave him a 50. He gave Klopp a 50. Sorry about that. 55. All right, let's give him a 60. I think the guys let him down yesterday. There was no I guess there was no going into halftime and giving a motivational speech to up the players. We were at a somewhat unfamiliar position and being up going into the half, But yeah, it is what it is with that. I think a 60 is good. A 60. This is the question, real quick. I'm the landing gear is down. We're touching down on the tarmac here, but there was a question I had, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. I know that Drunk Vigo gave us his answer, But this was the question I had. Before we leave, guys, give me an answer on this one. Because this is off of what Pops had just said, because earlier he said Harvey isn't the biggest or the quickest, and I'm not contending that, and that his work and that works against him in getting into the starting 11 in Bayesian Pop's opinion. So then I went back and asked him, okay, well then if that's a no for Harvey, if you had to choose on form and fitness, current form and fitness, between Harvey, Dom, and Curtis, not for this next Europa match, I'm speaking on our next Prem matchup. Who do you start? Who's a starter for you? And hi, Laura, I'm going to bring up your stat about Man City and Arsenal after this. Who do you start? I wanted to really ask Daz, hi, Lord, Pops. Like who would you stop? Who would you start? Excuse me.
Jeez,
Trump Figo says he wants to try McAllister, Elliott, and Dom. Okay.
Wait, so if saying so if there's no Harvey, what if you had to choose?
So saying we're starting Endo. Endo in the 6. We have McAllister, let's say, playing either left or right. We can move McAllister either to the right 8 or the left 8. Who would you start as that pair for McAllister in the 8?
I'd still try and play Sabazole into form.
Okay. That was a basic question. Okay. So you rather, even though he's not in the top form and fitness I don't know about, but I mean, form and fitness, you would say you would rather start Dom to work him into form over Jones, the other two choices.
Over Jones, or well, if we're saying no to Harvey, then
not saying no. I'm sorry. Let me phrase this perfectly or more eloquently for you. Then, basically, Pops was saying that his size and his quickness affects whether he gets starts in this game or in this lineup, this current 11. His size and his quickness affect him getting into the 11. But I said, okay, all well, good, still all the same. Would you, not only Pops, but would you and the chat, who would you start if you had to choose between those three? And his partner is going to be Mac in either the left side or the right side, depending on, obviously, you start Cujo, chances are you're starting Mac on the right. If you start Dom, chances are you're probably starting Mac on the left. You understand what I mean? So if you had to choose that partner pair, assuming we're going to put Endo in the 6, who would be that partner pair for McAllister? Would you rather see Curtis, Harvey, or Dom? That was my question.
Yeah, right now, still, I think it will be Dominic Szoboszlai, and to me, basically, because of what Pop said there earlier on as well about Jones. Jones had the shirt. Injuries came along. Now he doesn't have the shirt. And how does he get it back? Well, that's the thing. You get it back when you get the chance. It's going to take that flip side of fortune to go the other way for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets back in. But Dominic Szoboszlai, I think, is close to potentially losing his place.
Yes.
I still don't see him losing his place. I can see him get the game off against Atalanta, but I want to think, okay, we have a second choice midfield now, 3 of Gravenberch and Elliott and Jones, but we don't have a number 6 in that. So I think Jones at his peak, or his best, which he was nearly early on the season, was kind of making himself a little bit undroppable. There was big shouts of, is he this or is he that? It's like he had the shirt, like Pop said, he had it. It was his to lose. Then he goes, he gets That's football. It's brutal. You've lost your spot now. You've got to fight it back. You've got to wait for someone to get dropped or get injured to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
But for the run-in, see, this is why we don't get paid 15 million quid a year. Because Klopp has to be able to look at this and go, what's the best shout here? Do I get Curtis back in? Do I give up on Dom? Because if you're dropping Dom, you're giving up on your, what, £65 million midfielder?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Who do I want in a big game? Do I want Dom or do I want Jones?
Yeah, that's my question. That's basically
really
what
hard.
it is getting to.
Really
Yeah.
hard.
Kurt, I mean, I understand that our next Prem game is Crystal Palace, I believe, right? At home. So that's not necessarily like a perennial opponent, and we have the confines of Anfield to help support and lift us up. But after that, we have a Europa game, and then we start going on the road, and we don't have Anfield to hold us up, and we're gonna have Fulham, we're gonna have Everton, we're gonna have West Ham. Everton's going to be another matchup, very, very similar to this United matchup in that it's a rivalry match that you just throw away. You throw out form. Everton is going to look at that as being one of their, as almost a cup final for them, in essence. I was just wondering if you make a change, But I can understand what you're saying. You're basically saying continue to play Dom into the form that we saw him in the very beginning of the year, rather than take a chance on Curtis or Harvey, because Curtis is going to have to work into form anyway. He didn't look great in coming into that game against United, even in the sub role. And then Harvey, maybe you have the concepts of what Pops is saying, is that Harvey can be utilized as a sub, but maybe not as a 90-minute player. Did I get basically just
not someone like if you told me tomorrow that such and such was happening and we're going with Endo, McAllister, and Elliott, I'm not worried about that really. Mm-hmm. That's never worried me the last couple of years. Elliott in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
If you told me it's Gravenberch, I'd be a little bit more concerned. If you told me it's Curtis Jones and he's fully fit, I don't really have any concerns. So between now and the end of the season, if you can get the two of those guys, Jones and Elliott, chomping at the bit, ready to come on, ready to impact, that's what you want. Or you want them on the bench. You don't want to be looking at the bench going, oh, what am I going to do here? You want to be looking at the bench going, I've got Jones, I've got Elliott, I've got their, you know what I mean? They're ready to come in. That's ideal, but the guy Elliott has never let us down, ever has he let us down.
Yeah.
He's impacted. I think I saw a stat there, it was a while ago, but about in terms of impact off the bench, and he was streets ahead. And I know it's an odd stat, but the amount of goals involvement by players coming off the bench, it's a niche group, but he was clearly standing out in terms of how much of an impact he was having. So these are good problems for us fans. These are great. We shouldn't stress too much. We should be happy that we have Elliott, we have Jones, and we have Gravenberch ready to go. It's up to the pressure then is on Klopp, which to pick and which to go with. And he can look at the Boza and go, yeah, right.
No, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, the Atlanta game will be really interesting. How weak or how not weak, how strong does he go? Does he risk taking out Sabozai and McAllister and going with Jones and Elliott?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I asked that question because of going from what me and Pops were saying in the chat when we were actually talking about Harvey, and then when he went as far as to say, because of his speed and his pace, and because of or I think he said because of his pace and his
size,
size, right? he just doesn't get into this 11, and we've seen him as a starter, obviously, but he was saying CJ and Harvey have a major role to play in the run in. They definitely all do. I mean, all three of these guys do. And if anything, the form that they're in, that some of these players are in, whether it's Dom, whether it's been Curtis, whether it's even been Elliott, it takes a real measure of a man to say, I got to accept rotations. I got to accept sometimes not being the starter. And then what I mean by accept it, as I mean, like, maybe it's for the best that I don't start this game and I come in as a sub, or I don't start this game primarily so I can get that rest, or I can get my legs underneath me a little bit more. But I just wanted to hear. I know that the chat has said some other stuff, has asked some different opinions. Let's see. I know that Daz, or not, it wasn't Daz. It was Roll Me Up on Fat Boy. No more Dom. Rest him. Jones in now. I mean, he wants him in now. Elliott deserves to start every game now too, because of abilities. Dom is offering nothing. Let's see. Anyone else get one in? Elliott is getting more results out of his minimal athletic abilities compared to Dom's size and athleticism. I can say that correctly as well. No. Vigo says something else that I'm not going to repeat. And then,
but you can see effectiveness.
Yes.
You don't need anyone to tell you. You don't need to dig into it. You can see effectiveness on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And when Harvey comes on, you can see he gets involved and he makes things happen. Not always, but it's the whole super sub thing. When you're saying about being able to accept that, it's not something you go to in the club and you go, right, how you're offering me a contract there now. What's the crack? What do you see me playing? All we see is a super sub. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
But when you're at Liverpool and you're 21 years old and you're kind of basically living the dream just by being there, you will accept it's like, oh, you're not playing today. Why not? Because McAllister's ahead of you. You're going to be something like Harvey, but like I said, that won't be forever.
It won't be. No.
Good for his career.
There'll be players that come and go. Yep. Sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. It's obviously we'll see is the worst thing you can say. But it'll be again the most interesting for this new manager guy is the amount of basically different types of players he has at his disposal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're obviously at the doors to allow for you on to your next destination. If this is not the final, we wish you the best with your day, your morning, your evening. Also, hey, it's going to be a lot of different places out there that are going to be very, very hostile to us. Don't get triggered. Do not allow for them to get the best of you in the sense of bringing out the worst in you. So, if I'm in the chat, I'll do my best to stand the line with you as always. But yeah, let's not allow us to be trolled or brought into a lot of the conversations out there. Especially, let's not get into these conversations of devaluing our players, to the point where it gets ugly with some of the comments that can start to get offered. But I understand the fact, and I'm saying that because you guys are the Mighty Reds Army, and I know that you guys bring the weaponry to be able to combat that always and every day. So, just know that I'm standing by your side in this fight. So we're gonna live to battle another day. That day will be Thursday, which we will be having I will be doing a watch along for Thursday for the Europa match. I know Daz said he's going to be going, so hopefully he could be our on-site correspondent for the game. We're going to do a lead-in and a watch along, so that should be a fun little endeavor for us. And is there anything you want to say to the people before we let them go?
just what JK is saying there. Keep it classy and keep it sassy.
Exactly. Words to the wise, as we say, right? Words to the wise, always. Look, brothers and sisters, appreciate you always. Up the Reds, and let's get this next victory. And let's just and we hope for the best. We go on to another day. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, take care.